Sorry, you guys were being so embarrassingly bad at comboing, I had to take you off the screen. It was kind of embarrassing. Like, for me, I guess, as the sort of presider over the chat. You know what I mean? You get what I mean. Please keep us off the screen. Oh, don't worry, every day I consider it more and more, like permanently. The likelihood of you returning to the screen visibly decreases with each passing day. You really need to throw chat away and get a new one? Honestly. Honestly. Also, happy cake day. What's good? I'll tell you what's good. Anyone else watch the goddamn Minecraft War versus Peace Civilization thing? Fucking Kino is what that is. I just finished it. Holy. I love Minecraft Kino Slop. I love that shit. Dude, it's so pink in here. What the fuck? Is it actually good, or were people just pretending it's good like Parkour Civilization? I would say it's actually a little bit better than Parkour Civilization, in my opinion. Because in Parkour Civilization, the comedy is being supplied by the yeah, by the I guess the whims and comedic tastes of the director, whereas in the Civilization one, it's a lot more what's the term, like organic or diegetic. Is something happening? What the fuck are you talking? We're live streaming. That's what's happening. You happy the heat wave was over? I was melting like wax. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind the heat that much. I mean, I grew up in Los Angeles, so it doesn't feel that bad here. But considering I don't have AC in this room, you know, it's definitely preferable that it not be super warm. Heat wave still going on in Europe. Nobody cares about Europe. No, nothing happens there. Nothing happens there. Have you played Peak yet? Dude, I fucking found out today that Peak is made by yeah, Tempest. That Peak is made by Aggro Crab. What the fuck? Dude, that studio is so Kino. Holy shit. Is Peak Peak? It is Peak. How the fuck did they make it so quickly after they made another Crab's Trash or whatever it's called? It's a pretty basic game, just really fun. Yeah, that's what makes it Peak. Another Crab's Treasure. Yeah, yeah. It was a 48-hour game jam. Jesus. They're so fucking good. You know, I have look, that's the demon girl from Going Under, which was the game they made before Another Crab's Treasure, which is also Peak. They're a good ass studio, man. I saw them at PAX West when they came over here to Seattle like a year ago. I was at work when I saw the title of this stream, and I was about to be so mad if I found out about an invasion via fucking Vosh. Dude, the people in YouTube chat were pissing me off. They were like, what the fuck? I thought that was real. Like, do these people get goofed by an Onion article every time? I can't have any fun. I can't make any jokes. I can't, like, even slightly sarcastically suggest the topic, you know? Oh, Putin and Trump are meeting in Alaska. First of all, if you watch me often enough to be a frequent participant in my live stream chats, shouldn't you be familiar enough with the news to be aware of the fact that Putin is visiting Alaska today? Listen, nothing terrifies me more than the thought that a person gets their only political education from my stream, and that's your fucking fault, okay? Video game streamers don't have to deal with this shit. If I'm out here nonstop playing like Path of Exile 2, and it's like, oh, well, do I care if people watch other game streamers? No, not really. It doesn't really affect me or them. It's their choice, you know? But here, in this case, me, the only source? Jesus, fuck. Terrifying. Terrifying. I'm so fucking sorry, Vosh. I didn't mean it. Please don't point at me again. Okay. I'm sorry for pointing at you. The Peak devs will invade streams of their games as Bing Bong. Oh yeah, I saw that.
Bing bong? Was it the stuffed Bing bong!
What the fuck is going on? It's this fucking thing!
It's the fucking frog!
Bing bong.
Sway!
Cast it in the sea! I think it's worth to go get some...
Oh!
What? There is somebody here.
I'm a little bit freaked out now, boys. I'm not
You
gonna...
bring me to the beach?
He's back! He's back! The fuck out of here!
Take me to the beach!
Hey, please.
Bing Bong, where did you come from?
From the airplane.
The lips move when you talk, Bing Bong.
Of course. Yours do too.
Alright, put him in the bag, put him in the bag, he's coming with...
I think that all video games should have a backdoor where the developers can invade, like they're fucking Dark Souls red sign invaders, you know? Red soapstone. No, it doesn't matter what the genre of the game is. I just think every game should have like a variant of that mechanic. It can be positive, it can be negative. The early days of WoW when GMs would do weird shit in game. Yeah, they'd like wave a magic wand and fix your shit or whatever. You'd be stuck in between. You'd be stuck in like the geometry of 3 rocks that intersected at a weird angle and you can't jump out. And you'd summon a DM and a DM would come around and be like, "Woo, do, I'm a wizard." And they would like fix your shit, but it would take forever because they were doing RP bits most of the days. But now everything is bad. You covering the Roblox thing today? What the fuck is the Roblox thing? What the fuck is the Roblox thing? What does that even mean? Roblox bans some pedo hunter. What? You mean pedo hunter like those guys who have YouTube channels where they... We found a sexual predator and we hit him on the head with a pumpkin 27 times. That kind of thing? They find some, like, dubiously guilty, because you don't fucking know, like, autistic guy, and they're like, we'll let you off the hook for trying to molest a child if you can do 200 consecutive jump ropes without failing, and if you fail, we'll hit you in the knees with a tire iron until they break. Like that kind of thing. Bosch, he was actually doing it, work with the police. Okay, listen, admirable and futile of a goal as getting pedophiles out of Roblox must be. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's like trying to get, I don't know, all the rats out of New York City sewers. I'm pretty sure that historically these pedo hunter type people or whatever usually just, it's mostly just about like internet vigilantism and it doesn't actually do anything. Like, you can't use the evidence in court. They ruin the cases because the evidence is procured in a way that corrupts it and makes it unusable in court in a lot of cases, right? Like, I think there was this one group that did this thing back in like the early 2000s or maybe the 90s, and they just like basically they catfished. They got like bait, they got like logs of people, and that was fine, I think, because it was not confrontational. It just got info, but still somehow this even ended up like corrupting the cases somehow. I don't know. I don't really know. It's complicated. Yeah, I know what Roblox is, Toddy the Body. I'm familiar with the game. I mean, I haven't played it, but I've heard about it. Louisiana Attorney General sues Roblox. What the fuck? Accusing the platform of failing to implement basic safety controls and making the site the, quote, perfect place for pedophiles. That might be true. That's possible. I don't know if that's true. I've heard people on the internet talk about it like it's true. Roblox CEO called on to resign after sending cease and desist letter to online, quote, predator hunter. YouTuber Schlepp claims his investigations have led to 6 arrests of individuals attempting to groom minors in Roblox. Okay, look, that's good. So it leads to arrests. Does it lead to convictions? Because that's the important part. Arresting is relatively easy, right? Does it lead to convictions? That's the question. Here's the video. All right.
This video isn't going to be your typical video.
Oh boy.
This video is actually a call for help, and I need everybody to share this video. The Roblox Corporation has sent a cease and desist letter to me, a 22-year-old, versus a multi-billion-dollar company, threats of litigation because I catch predators.
Are we actually watching this? Listen, I know you think you're better than the topic, but this shit gets more people involved in politics than any bullshit-ass news story. Putin visiting Alaska is going to get as many people onboarded onto politics as, like, I don't know, like a 1/100th of this.
On their platform. Within the last year, me and my team...
Oh man, I'm a profitable Roblox developer, so this is trippy to see on a Vosh stream. Get yourself an orange name, motherfucker. Profitable Roblox developer, Jesus.
Gotten 6 predators arrested within the Roblox community. Almost all of them have admitted to doing this before to other Roblox users. Every account that I've owned on Roblox since I was 8 years old has been terminated. Accounts that we were actively talking to predators on have now been banned off of Roblox. What Roblox did could potentially stop some predators from facing real-life consequences. Not to mention that Roblox has made a very firm stance that I can no longer access the Roblox platform anymore, which I want to make clear at the start of this video. I will not be accessing Roblox in any capacity at this point further unless Roblox...
Well, I would like to know the details of the cease and desist. Can you explain to me, please?
Roblox says otherwise. This is pretty heartbreaking to me because I've been playing Roblox since I was a little kid. I've loved this platform. I still do. I met my current girlfriend who I've been dating for 3 years. I live with her. We first met all the way back in 2016 through Roblox. I love so much about this site, and that's why I'm so critical of it, because I want to see it do better. The stuff that they've sent me in the cease and desist letter is actually laughably hilarious. Roblox is actively claiming that I am hurting their players. Here's an email.
Just show me the fucking letter, man.
Laughably hilarious. Roblox
stated intentions may be to protect children while recognizing the serious nature of online predatory behavior methods, including failing to immediately report suspicious activity to Roblox through proper channels or actively interfering with Roblox's established safety protocols and critically exposing Roblox users to increased risk. That sounds pretty bullshit. So the likely explanation for why Roblox is banning this guy is because he is adding to the broad scrutiny that Roblox is unsafe for children. Yeah, it's a PR issue. They want to get rid of him because he's drawing attention to the fact that there are predators on Roblox, which of course there are. You can't ban a person for not using the report feature. I mean, I guess you can do whatever you want, you know, but like that's not, like, even in real life, that's not really like a good precedent, you know, like arresting people or sending them to jail because they failed to report a crime, you know. Yeah, doesn't really work.
Roblox is actively claiming that I am hurting their players. Here's an email. I didn't ever plan on showcasing this in a video, but this is from a kid who is thanking me for getting someone he was groomed by arrested in real life. He said he recognized him from my video, and here's some cool fan art he made of me. Roblox is claiming that I'm engaging in simulated child endangerment conversations. What? So,
well, isn't that true? Because that's what you're doing to catch them, right? Isn't that their simulated child endangerment isn't that what you're doing?
one of the fundamental bases of predator catching is that you cannot talk sexually to predators. Predators are supposed to be the ones talking sexually to you. If you talk sexually to predators, like straight off the get-go, that's entrapment. That is literally what entrapment is.
That's not literally what entrapment is. If a person online thinks that you're a minor and they do that anyway, you talking sexually to them doesn't necessarily constitute entrapment legally, because they're still responding. Whatever.
Almost always play a naive kid who doesn't know anything about this stuff, so they teach us about this stuff. If you watch these videos, you know how the chats are going, and they're not even on Roblox. Most of the chat logs are on Discord, and they're accusing me of getting people off of platform onto different social media sites. I guess that's worth a cease and desist and an IP ban of every single account that I own. That's just crazy. I can't even believe, I can't even fathom that. They also say sharing or soliciting personally identifiable information. I have no idea what they're referring to this. I would love to know what they're talking about. Are they referring to the fact that I give the information of the predators that we find to the police? Like the people we're talking to are predators. Like, does Roblox understand that? I literally have no idea. If they thought something was genuinely...
It's really difficult to get any meaningful information off this video, because this is a video constructed by a person who has spent their entire life on Roblox and in fact met their partner there. The cadence and the delivery of the information in this video is tailored to the interests of an audience that I am not a part of. Full legal cease and desist notice from Roblox to me. Roblox is committed to aggressively combating illegal and harmful conduct, including child exploitation, through dedicated, sophisticated method of safety professionals, advanced moderation systems, partnership with law enforcement agencies. For example, Roblox maintains direct communications channels with NC, MEC, and agencies like the FBI. The problem ultimately is that the only thing that Roblox cares about is making money, and any child protection systems that they implement that would compromise their bottom line profit-wise are unacceptable to them. Like, the fact that Roblox is a game platform that is designed for children, which it fucking is, okay, and they are like they have very few restrictions on interpersonal communication is absolutely wild. You know, there's a reason why in games like Club Penguin or Wizard 101 or Toontown or whatever, or fuck even Hearthstone, you know, your ability to communicate with other people is really moderated and really limited, you know. But in Roblox, you can just go on and just fucking like voice chat with people, which is crazy for a game that is meant to be like a playground for young people. Like that is insane, you know? We used to take the idea of like a walled off child's game internet a lot more seriously, and now we just don't. We don't take that seriously at all anymore. Was that video that went viral like a month or so ago, talking about how there's no longer a playground on the internet? Everything is meant for everybody. Like, they can say Twitter or YouTube are for 13s and up or whatever, but like in practice, everyone uses the same fucking internet, you know? They tried to make Roblox for dating too. I'm sure it would have made them a lot of money. Yeah, pretty sussy.
Wrong. They could have reached me out so easily. I think the most insulting thing is that they told me I'm not reporting people quick enough and I'm not reporting them through the right outlets. Tell me the right outlets. I have been trying to figure this out for like a year now. This here is Nepali Incel. This person actually made credible threats to the Las Vegas sphere in a Roblox game, and I saw this with my own two eyes. And the reason why it's a credible threat, it is because the FBI went ahead and arrested someone for making threats within that same game.
There's a whole fucking world out there, ain't there? There's a whole goddamn world. This is like, we're the normies in a cyberpunk dystopia, and this is the cyberspace that netrunners are fighting on. We're just living our day-to-day, our everyday lives, walking around in meat space, and meanwhile there are Roblox hackers with their fucking headsets dialed in, preventing terror attacks on real-life sites, preventing Nepali Incel from activating the sarin gas bombs on the ground floor of the Las Vegas Convention Center.
Moderation ticket about it, and I even actually made a report to the FBI about this. Where is the cease and desist letter for him? Where is the IP ban for him? Are you gonna ban all of this dude's accounts? Probably not. But back to the predator catching stuff, this is literally how it goes. We go to roblox.com/support, submit a moderation ticket, and then fill out the prompt with all the information regarding our arrest and give you guys the same Google Drive that we give to the cops. And in a lot of instances, Roblox won't even ban.
I don't think Roblox wants to get involved in that. I don't think they want to get involved in that process. Roblox is such a big gaming platform that realistically, there's no way that the company can moderate at that level. The most you could hope for, which they will never do because they're an evil corporation, is to restrict the ease of communication between players in that game. And what's more, like, keep in mind that Roblox isn't just like a game, it's like a virtual environment, right? Like, people don't really talk about Fortnite being grooming central, even though Fortnite also has proximity voice chat and anyone plays, and there's a ton of kids on there, you know? And the reason for that is because Fortnite, you kind of just drop into a game and then you leave. I'm sure people are getting groomed on there, but it's not really the thing it's known for. But in Roblox, you form like fucking communities, you know? You have people with like currency-based avatars and like clothing and emotes and shit. You have like you know, there's like there's so much more there that can be used as leverage to get a hold over a person, you know? It's crazy.
And after we reach out to them regarding felony arrest. What I typically have to do is report cases to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, or go on the news to show gameplay of our decoys with the predators on Roblox. I've literally felt so lost at trying to get the attention of Roblox regarding these predators. I've created binders with all the chat logs, and I've sent it to their headquarters in San Mateo, California. This is the first time Roblox has ever directly reached me out. Instead of trying to say, hey, we want to work with you, or literally giving me a line to report these people, or simply saying, don't make these videos.
By the way, I'm going to get all like, I'm going to get British for a moment. This is an example where I think that having to provide a license to play, like a direct ID, isn't a bad idea, in my opinion. Like, I don't think you should have to be able to provide your license to, like, browse the fucking internet or social media or whatever, because I think there's a lot of, like, negative downstream shit there. But if you want, because also, like, social media and a lot of stuff online is kind of, like, mandated for living now. Not to say Twitter necessarily, but if, like, you can't use YouTube unless you upload your license to a private third-party server, like, everyone's gonna upload their fucking license because it's YouTube. It's like a pillar of modern life, you know? But Roblox? Not so much. Like, the idea of if you are, you know, fucking... Like, okay, if you are, like, 13 or younger, maybe in Roblox you should be relegated to, like, separate Roblox servers where there's no voice chat and no microtransaction models. Would Roblox, the company, ever do this? No, because they're evil, and they want to make money off of children stealing their parents' credit cards. But, like, this is something that you could do, you know? Or you could find some way of, like, segmenting it so that you can have the children's internet again, one with, like, basically no interpersonal communication. Dude, a 10-year-old doesn't need voice chat to have fun playing a video game. I sure as shit didn't when I was 10 years old, 21 years ago. You know what I was playing? Diablo 2. The most I had was fucking text chat in an up to 8-person server, and even that I ignored because I was too busy going up to, like, slash player 8 Den of the Fallen so that I could kill the first zombie boss in 112 hits and be satisfied by the amount of experience that I got in a single kill. Like, you don't, these little kids don't need communication in their games. They're just playing games, man. Fact check, you require ID and to be 18 plus to voice chat in Roblox already. I'm sure I'm not a Roblox expert. I could probably, like, look into how they do it. They probably don't do it the way that I would do it. They probably don't do it the way that I would do it. 13 plus for voice chat, not 18 plus. That makes more sense, but still.
Anymore, we're gonna ban you. Roblox just terminated every account I own and sent me
also,
this.
Is it like a real ID requirement, or is it just like check a box? You only need a phone number to verify? Okay.
Cease and desist letter. My account Maliboomer, a family-friendly sandbox gaming theme park channel that I've run since the pandemic. This is actually my first Roblox account. One of the hats that I wore on this avatar was actually something I got at a STEM event where I met Roblox administrators. That channel, It pays my rent. Roblox has made it clear that I'm banned from ever accessing the platform again.
All right, I feel like the message in this video is getting muddled, which does kind of call into question your methods, because this seems like something that would require a lot of care and nuance, and you seem to have the mental profile of a person who's played Roblox your entire life. But no hate. I don't know. Maybe you're, like, a really cool guy. Either way, Roblox is fucking evil. Subway Surface Brain. Listen. I can't be too anti-Gen Z. That's where my fucking donos come from. He seems to be crashing out. No, he isn't. No, he isn't. That's not a correct use of the term at all. Every day I get closer to removing chat from the screen. You know that? He seems to be crashing out. You think you're better than this guy? He's doing something. What have you done with your life? No, I mean it. I'm not being facetious here. What have you done? He's got a passion. He's applying a skill set. Maybe there's some questionable decision-making in the editing of the video. What are you doing? He seems to be crashing out. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Everyone likes to judge from a distance. What you don't realize is that as the streamer, I'm the one who gets that privilege. You just have to sit around and agree with whatever I say. Roblox CEO called upon to resign for banning this individual.
There is a growing issue in our country with Roblox, an online gaming platform, and the abuse of children. Roblox is simply not doing enough to protect our kids, to inform parents, and to go after child predators. As you know, I have been leading the fight for the full release of the Epstein files.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the interview. Of course it would be fucking Kana. He knows his audience. He's the Silicon Valley tech guy. Issued a legal complaint. Bypassed official moderation channels. Schlepp reached out to Republican Senator Ted Cruz on Twitter and then by email on Monday, advocating for political attention to the company's safety policies. Sure, why not? Hell yeah. And the Louisiana Attorney General is filing a lawsuit.
Louisiana's top prosecutor is taking on one of the most popular online sites for teens and kids, Roblox.
Attorney General Liz Murrill says the platform has become a hunting ground for predators, and now she's taking her fight to court. Perry Robinson is here with us. Perry.
Hey guys, the Attorney General says Roblox is putting kids in danger and warns the company to make changes or shut it down.
The state is taking aim at perhaps the most popular child and teen gaming site in the world. The Attorney General filed a lawsuit against Roblox, accusing the online platform of failing to protect kids from predators.
It created, curated, and perpetuated an online environment where child sex predators thrive, unite, hunt, and victimize kids.
Roblox, which launched in
I'm totally in favor of punitive action against Roblox, in some form or another, but there's like no doubt at all that this is going to get completely fucked up. Look at this. Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill has filed a lawsuit against Roblox, accusing the popular gaming platform of enabling child exploitation, hosting explicit content, and failing to protect minors from predators. And provided from the Attorney General of Louisiana is a screenshot of the Roblox game shop with Diddy typed in. Troll, escape freaky party obby. Survive the Diddy in Area 51. The road to Diddy's. Diddy party. Freaky Diddy simulator. Official Diddy. New Midnight at Diddy's party. Diddy simulator. Nice try, Diddy. Diddy party VC. Child Labor Tycoon 3, brackets, Freaky Diddy, ... Survive Diddy, parentheses, new. Diddy's World, release. Diddy Survival. Presumably this goes on, like, ad infinitum, just forever. I have no doubt that, like, any actual pushback against Roblox would be done, not to protect children, but to enable the security and surveillance state, you know? It would lead to more censorious bullshit. It's such a difficult topic, man. I wonder how all the people on the right who are going to argue about like censoring the Diddy Quest games or whatever on Roblox are also the people complaining that the West went woke by censoring lolicon content in imported Japanese games that have been localized into the West. Remember how Asmongold did that for a while? He was like, dude, these Japanese developers are being forced to go woke from fat, black, purple-haired Western game developers. And the wokeness in question was like not showing the pussy of an 11-year-old demon succubus sprite, like alt skin character in a fighting game, you know? I don't fucking know. That's not what Asmon was defending, lol. No, I saw the video. That was explicitly what was being talked about. Like the specific video, it was about localization changes, and the changes in the game were that. So that is what was being talked about. Yeah. I don't think he explicitly referred to it in the exact terms that I did, but that was what was being described. So I don't know. Merrill criticized the platform's lack of age verification, said she wants Roblox to implement safeguards similar to Louisiana's recently passed law requiring pornography websites to verify users' ages. I guess I don't necessarily have an issue with that. I don't know. Roblox lawsuit. It's over for Roblox. This has 1.7
So Roblox is getting sued.
views.
The state of Louisiana just announced that they're suing
Do they still make people who look like this? That's crazy. No hate or whatever.
Roblox for a lack of safety protocols and because Roblox seems to prioritize user growth over child safety. One of the examples given is Roblox's refusal to ban games like Bathroom Simulator. This might just be the worst year in Roblox history.
See, I don't know if that's necessarily the issue at hand, right? There's not actually that many mainstream news sources talking about this. It's all local news. Roblox is a pretty big game company.
Breaking right now at 4, the state of Louisiana sues the popular gaming site Roblox.
We saw this.
Turning now to a popular game for kids and teens at the center of a lawsuit.
Roblox is accused of being a safe haven for child predators. An Oakland County mother alleging the platform is responsible for the sexual exploitation of her 10-year-old daughter.
7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham spoke with the attorney representing her and parents.
Oh, this is a separate lawsuit.
About the popular game and the risks.
This lawsuit filed against Roblox claims that there are a lack of restrictions, a lack of safety protocols, and a lack of age verification measures that cause problems for kids just trying to have fun online.
It's horrific and scary about how many victims there are out there.
Attorney Matthew Dolman represents a family from Oakland County that claims in this 82-page lawsuit, the online gaming app, Roblox, allowed a young girl to be sexually exploited.
So what you have is, in this case, an 8-year-old who's playing online and thinks cloaked behind the anonymity of an online figure, it's another 8-year-old or another child close to their age, and realize this is a grown man.
He says the man built an emotional connection, gained her trust, and sent her sexually explicit images, and then encouraged...
There should just be no way, if you're young, to play a video game that has any kind of, like, communication function over multiplayer. You know, I'm not necessarily anti-multiplayer games for kids, but it has to be shit that has literally like no venue for communication, no text, no voice, no trade, like nothing. Like other people are just little like blips that you interact with in like a distanced, you know. Only emotes? Yeah, sure, only emotes. Probably pretty difficult to groom somebody using only emotes. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are some professionals out there that could get it done, but I feel like that would be a pretty significant handicap for most people.
Urged her to reciprocate. Dolman claims the company only cares about profit.
Their goal, their incentive was to have as many users on their platform as possible, which raised their valuation, which raised their stock price, and the returns to shareholders.
That is how this system works. That's true. We have to keep rediscovering this. Every time there's a lawsuit against a corporation, part of the allegations, you know, well, they only care about profit. Yeah, dog, that's the system. It came for free with your capitalism.
When they could have put simple safety measures like just age verification, but that would have limited the amount of people on their platform.
We posed a question on our Channel 7 Facebook page, asking parents how they feel about their kids playing Roblox and what the rules are in their home. The responses vary, from parents who have no problem with Roblox at all with the...
Jesus, man, look at this. They can play, but mic's off as 2 old men has attempted to reach... Illiterate. Attempted to reach out already. My boys are 8 and 10. I have a 11-year-old and 9-year-old that play. I have all account information so I can check it whenever I want. We go over internet safety often, meaning we explain that you don't share your last name online, you don't share your address, your city, anything that could help locate where you live. When I'm playing, I check out them. It's so crazy that parents should even have to do this. Like, it's fucking wild that we've developed systems where it's like, oh, you're a parent, you just worked your 9 to 5, you know, you've done your work today. All right, time to go through the logs of your children on Roblox today to make sure they didn't divulge your credit card information to a pedophile from, you know, Virginia. No, it's kind of their job. It shouldn't have to be, because it shouldn't even be possible. It shouldn't be possible for your idiot 8-year-old to go online and give your home address to another person. Like, it just shouldn't be allowed. It's fucked up that we don't have any, like, playground internet shit. Genuinely, FromSoft was onto something with the Dark Souls message format. That's perfect. You can get your 8-year-olds to play Dark Souls, unironically. First of all, Dark Souls is probably about as difficult as Ninja Gaiden or like the later levels of the original Super Mario Bros. So I feel like they should be able to handle it. Or at the very least, it'll give them something to fixate over, okay? And you can't get groomed over Dark Souls. Probably.
Problem with Roblox at all with the proper oversight to zero tolerance. Kevin Nackey was willing to talk with us on camera about his son's experience.
He came out and was like, "Oh, Dad, look, we're playing." I'm like, "Who are you playing with?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know. He's a guy on on Roblox." And we just start. I'm like, I shut it down. I said, "No, we're not doing that."
Nackey says changes are needed, which is what Dolman says the lawsuit calls for.
Give out a specific code that a child can create just for his friends to join. That we can get on the phone with mom and dad of Joey or Alex at the school that he goes to and be like, "Hey, this is the code for him to play with his friends."
This should be like common sense for any game that is meant to be played by children. Like the fact that this even has to be alleged in a lawsuit is insane. You know, like, oh, I have a suggestion that Roblox couldn't come up with in their billions of dollars of profit.
Nobody else can get that code.
Our goal is to cripple this company if we can. And it's an $82 billion company, so that would be almost an impossible task. But so what do you do next? We try to force systemic change.
I reached out to Roblox Corporation for comment. They sent me a statement saying, quote, "We are deeply troubled by any incident that endangers our users, and safety is a top priority. We dedicate substantial resources, including advanced technology and 24/7 human moderation to help."
All of this is culpability limiting horseshit invented by the legal department in order to avoid responsibility for what are fundamentally like ground level design failures, you know? Oh yeah, we have the top AI on moderating the report system. Fuck you, you know? Just make it so kids can't talk at all.
Help detect and prevent inappropriate content and behavior, including attempts to direct users off platforms where safety standards and moderation may be less stringent than ours. While no system is perfect, Roblox has implemented rigorous safeguards, including restrictions on sharing personal information, links, and user-to-user image sharing, and prohibiting sexual conversations. We also partner with law enforcement and leading child safety organizations worldwide to combat the sexual exploitation of children.
Just a total meaningless nonsense statement. Absolutely nothing. There's nothing here. Totally empty. Criticism of Roblox for its child safety measures is starting to spook investors. Good. The company's stock fell by as much as 10.6% on Friday following reports of the lawsuit. Eeh. According to the company's most recent annual report, 20% of its 82 million active users are under the age of 9. Another 20% are between the ages of 9 and 12. So 40% of this 82 million, or fucking, I don't know, 33 million people or whatever, 32, 33 million people, are literally preteens, or not even. And they have no gate-kept system for just non-communication Roblox. Does an 8-year-old really need, like, text chat anyway? Like, is that really what their entertainment is hinging off of? We're talking about people, like, not even people, really. Like, these babies who, like, most of the jokes on Bluey would go over their head. And they're supposed to sit, we're supposed to believe that when they sit down to play Roblox, they're not captivated by all of the sights and sounds unless they can also just talk to people. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I was 8 years old talking shit on DE Dust 2. No one cares. We're not talking about what you did growing up. We know you turned into a live stream viewer, okay? We're talking about whether or not it's necessary, all right? If your ass had been bored 10 or 15 years earlier, you would have been just fine at 8 years old playing the shit I was growing up playing, okay? You could have sat down and just played GoldenEye 64 and been happy with rerunning the first 2 levels over and over. All right, Unc. I do think the Club Penguin approach of only being able to read text to people in your proximity. Well, the thing with Club Penguin, the thing that made it different, my understanding, I never played Club Penguin, but like a lot of people, I learned about it through osmosis, right? The difference is that, like, in Roblox, you have a persistent community with a very active marketplace. There are things of value to do and to trade, and there are lots of avenues and opportunities for people to build relationships on that platform, you know? Also, it's also a scale issue. Roblox is so much larger than Club Penguin ever was. Meaning that, like, it's just more difficult, you know? It's just more difficult to moderate anything. And yeah, Roblox is a lot more compartmentalized. The more compartmentalized your online world is, the easier it is for, you know, interactions to slip through the cracks. I'm your age, and there were MMORPGs with these problems when I was 10. The user base of social online games is just insanely larger now. Yeah, of course, it's always been an issue, but I think that Roblox, it's a platform targeted to children, and it's really bad about these safety measures. You know, like I played WoW when I was young. I played it back when I was 10, back when the in 2004, in the was it the beta or vanilla came out, whatever the fuck. And I played it a lot, you know. And of course, like people back then, I'm sure, you know, were being exploited on the platform. I think a big difference though, and you're going to have to pardon me if I'm wrong on this. I think that people are getting much worse educations on internet safety these days because when I was growing up, my generation was the first generation to grow up with the internet. So my parents were like super cautious about everything because they understood, like they had grown up with no internet. But nowadays, people are having kids and they've had the internet accessible to them for like 30 years. So to them, it's just a normal part of life. They hand their kid an iPad and they're like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. Go look at YouTube, you know? Oh, kids' YouTube is boring. YouTube TV is boring. Okay, here's my account. Go crazy, you know? Now nobody knows internet safety. I was taught not to share my fucking name and address. You know, be careful about your such and such. Now people are making Twitter accounts at 8 years old with their goddamn full names because they're trying to make it big as a YouTube star or something. Nobody's tech proficient anymore. Also, the internet used to be the thing you could only access through the one home computer in the living room. That makes a big difference too. If the only time and place that a young person can access the internet is like on the family computer, you know, in the middle of the house where everyone's walking by you, that facilitates a very different like relationship with these online communities. That was me playing WoW, man. That was me, you know, the family computer got used, you know, dad would input the receipts to keep up so when the taxes get done, blah blah blah. You know, my mom would input, you know, some stuff, grocery listing or whatever, and I'd be like, "Can I play? Can I play? I want to do Molten Core. I want to do Molten Core." And then I would go on there and I'd play with the, you know, the guild, and the parents would walk by me and they'd be like, "What's that?" And they would point at, you know, some bullshit. I'd be like, "I don't know." You get me. It was a very different environment. Nowadays, everyone's got a computer in their pocket. They've got the iPad and the iPhone, and they've got 16 computers in the house. Did your brother ever use the computer, or were you selfish? My brother wasn't much of a, like, internet nerd guy. He played sports. I know, lame, right? It was magical back then? Yeah, because you were a kid. Life can still be magical. You just have to experience new things. No nostalgia posting. Nostalgia is a fascist impulse. Never forget. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Again, I think that, what's his name? Who is the person? Schlepp? Immaturity aside, you know, I think that what Schlepp is doing is probably, it seems to be motivated by genuine altruism, so good there. Roblox is fucking evil. I don't know if any legislation that comes out against Roblox would actually, like, be good, or if it would just further the surveillance state, you know, feed everything into fucking Palantir. Jesus Christ, the text. God, I need to ask White Nervosa to roll back the text limit. 20 characters. Anyway, what was I saying? It was just distracting how many characters there were in that message in chat. Oh yeah, I have no idea if it's just going to end up being some Palantir bullshit, or if it's actually going to be, like, constructive towards child safety. Who knows? Your fault for fostering a Reddit audience? Honestly. Honestly. You got it. Hold on, let me send this one off to the editor minds. Sorry for essay posting. I've just been playing Roblox since I was little and still play from time to time. I forgive you. Look at that. Redemption. Alright, hold your horses. Sending. What's a good title for that, do you think? What's a good title for that? Louisiana is suing Roblox, and then the thumb, it's the thumb says, like, grooming haven question mark. The Roblox situation is crazy. Yeah, I know what your default is. And the thumb says, like, here you go. I'm not used to my new keyboard setup. I mean, it's not really a different setup. It's just like the keyboard is like an inch away from where it was before, or maybe my angle relative to it is a little bit different. But that's all it takes, man. Once you get used to sitting in a particular orientation for long enough, then you start typoing everything. I know how that goes. Yeah, well, I was already doing that, so I guess I get off the hook. Yo, a Canadian hospital got caught experimenting on dogs. What the fuck does that... Okay. Thank you for the information. What do you want from me? Did you get a standing desk? I already had a standing desk. Hate Canada more, we deserve it. Don't worry, I hate you guys plenty. Bosch has so many whiny parasocial chatters today. Honestly. And one of these days. One of these fucking days. Okay. Live updates. Trump and Putin begin talks on possible deal to end Russia-Ukraine war. So here's the lead up to this, okay? You know, Russia invaded Ukraine. Some people say that Ukraine invaded Russia. really, we don't know what the truth is, to be honest with you. I wasn't there, and I only believe what I see. I believe half of what I see and none of what I hear. That means I'm wise. Anyway, here we have some peace talks in which we have bizarrely invited the leader of an antagonistic nation onto our territory, security jets and all, over here into Alaska, a part of the country that Putin has kind of suggested belongs to Russia. Seems like it's going good. So far, so good. That's great. There he is, in America. It's the invasion force. Yeah, no kidding. Also, weirdly, in the lead up to this, Trump multiple times said that he and Putin would be meeting in Russia. So I don't know who he's been listening to, but he's been bunch of protesters, blah de blah. How long until these fucks come out? Come on. I'm trying to find the Can somebody find that for me? There's like multiple gaffes. Also, I don't have this muted. Oh, I do have it muted. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. But it looks like it was quiet anyway. Wow, they look different. Must be the lighting. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to see Putin. I'm going to Russia on Friday.
You mentioned your upcoming meeting with President Putin. Can you tell us what you hope to get out of that and whether you'll consider inviting President Zelensky to join?
So you have to understand, this is a war that should have never happened. This is a war that wouldn't have happened if I were president. It would have never happened. It was the apple of his eye. I got along very well with President Putin. But if you look, under President Bush, they took a lot of territory. Under President Obama, they took a lot of territory. Under Biden, they essentially took the whole thing. You know, it's just a question of time. Under Trump, you know what they took? Nothing. I was the one that said, you can't build your pipeline. That was half built. I came in, I stopped the pipeline. It's called Nord Stream 2. Nobody knows that, you know. Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2. You might have not even heard it. Biggest pipeline in the world. I stopped it. I was not a friend of Russia, but I got along well with Putin. It's always good to get along with other countries if possible, but that doesn't mean you roll over like Biden did. Biden came in and he immediately approved the pipeline. I couldn't believe it. Then they say Trump wasn't tough on Russia. I wasn't tough. I was the toughest. Putin said, if you're not tough, I would hate like hell to see you. I stopped the biggest economic development job, the biggest job that Russia had ever built. I stopped.
It's so fucking humiliating that absolutely everyone in media knows that his brain is melted, but nobody's willing to challenge him or question him on anything at any time because they're afraid of punitive legal retaliation, even though they are 100% guaranteed to win it. Like Paramount dropped like a settling on the lawsuit, even though they were going to win it because they wanted approval for the merger. But what about CNN? I mean, there are plenty of news outlets out there that are not currently looking for approval from the federal government for a merger.
It was dead. And this low IQ president came in and he let them build a pipeline and supply oil and gas all over Europe, you know? So this is really a feel-out meeting a little bit. And President Putin invited me to get involved. He wants to get involved. I believe he wants to get it over with. Now, I've said that a few times, and I've been disappointed because I'd have like a great call with him, and then missiles would be lobbed into Kiev or some other place. And
I genuinely don't get it. Are they cowards? Yes. Yeah, no. Yeah, 100%. Vosh, sorry for adding you, but you were kind of quiet to me. Is it possible for you to turn your mic volume a bit up so I can hear what you say? Apologies again. I want to let you know that the cowardly way in which you have asked me to turn my microphone up infuriates me more than if you just said, voice quiet, you quiet boy, white boy. But I don't fault you. It's a cultural gap between you and me, but I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad. Don't put in the newspaper that I'm mad. I'm sorry I'm quiet. The reason I'm quiet is because if I talk loud like this, the echo in here is crazy. The echo situation is crazy. But you know what? No. Fine, we'll fix it. We'll fix it, okay? I'm not even going to adjust the volume directly on the noise. Okay, I'm going to go directly into the, let's see, limiter, threshold, turn it up to 7.57, negative 7 decibels. And then on the compressor, output gain, 8 decibels. Oh, we're cooking now. Oh, you like that? You like it? I'm in the fucking red now. You like that shit? You like that shit? Yeah, you like that? Okay, good.
You'd have 60 people laying on a road dying. I said, that's cold, but it's a violent war. 5,000 to 7,000 people a week are dying. And you know, there's nobody from here. They're all Russian and Ukrainian people, and some people from the cities, much smaller number, but still, those missiles do damage and they kill a lot of people, but mostly soldiers. And they're young soldiers, although in the case of Ukraine, they're getting much older. They're drafting 60-year-olds now. It's a
as opposed to Russia, who's okay.
Terrible thing to witness, and I think I have an obligation. Look, this is Joe Biden's war. This is not my war. I made a deal with NATO a month ago. You covered it very accurately, actually. We don't pay anything anymore. You know, we're not paying anything. They are buying things from us, and NATO is paying us. I got it raised from 2% of GDP to 5%. And they're paying us for everything that we send. We're not paying. But Biden approved $350 billion. Europe has spent $100 billion. The money that's been spent and the death is incredible. It's the worst thing that's happened, by far the worst that's happened since World War II. So I'm going in to speak to Vladimir Putin, and I'm going to be telling him, you got to end this war. You got to end it. And he wasn't going to mess with me. This war would have never happened. You know, we had a discussion about it one time, and we never had that discussion again. Would have never happened. And when the election was rigged, and then Biden took office, which was barely took office, the auto pen took office, bad things started happening. Bad things, stupid things were said. And it ended up in a war. And you know, and I don't believe this will happen anymore because I have that pretty well covered. This could end up in a third world war. This could have been a third world war. I don't think that's going to happen now. But I thought it was very respectful that the president of Russia is coming to our country as opposed to us going to his country or even a third-party place. But I think we'll have constructive conversation.
I appreciate Trump acknowledging that he's on Russia's side by saying that America is not a third-party country.
Then after that meeting, immediately, maybe as I'm flying out, maybe as I'm leaving the room, I'll be calling the European leaders who I get along with very well. And, you know, I have a great relationship, I think, with all of them. And I get along with Zelensky, but, you know, I disagree with what he's done. Very, very severely disagree. This is a war that should have never happened, wouldn't have happened. But I'll be speaking to Zelensky. The next meeting will be with Zelensky and Putin, or Zelensky and Putin and me. I'll be there if they need, but I want to have a meeting set up between the two leaders. I was a little bothered by the fact that Zelensky was saying, well, I have to get constitutional approval. I mean, he's got approval to go into war and kill everybody, but he needs approval to do a land swap because there'll be some land swap.
This shit is incomprehensible. Yeah. I really do think that to a large extent the MAGA movement and like the cult of personality around Trump relies on the majority of his audience not listening to him, you know? Like, they get the little sound bites and they get him doing the double jerk-off dance and everything, but, like, listening to him for just a minute, like, 1 minute, and it's like, holy shit, like, he did not sound like this back in the 2016 primaries. It feels slow to us because we've been watching him the whole time, but you know, he really has like mentally degraded. Vosh, you unironically sound better. Okay, fine. Well, whatever. And when I get the foam panels in here, when they finally arrive, then we can, you know, reassess. But I'm glad that I sound better right now. Thank you. He sounded better 8 months ago. I agree. He has been consistently sounding worse, you know? Would you support voting requiring a literacy test? Is there a non-racist way we could implement it? Follow up. Could it be racist but against white people? To vote, you should have to draw a clock. That's not a bad idea. Okay, what if you had to do a literacy test, one of them in standard English, and then one of them in Jive, and only people who can do both get to vote? See, because black people can code switch, but white people can't. I think that would work. I think we've got something here. Yeah, white boys with the sauce could pass as well. They'll get up there soon.
Going on. I know that through Russia and through conversations with everybody. To the good, for the good of Ukraine. Good stuff, not bad stuff.
What is this? Nah, that's good. That's a good bit. It's good. It's a good bit. That's good. What a wacky guy. Oh man.
Also, some bad stuff for both. So there's good and there's bad. But it's very complex because you have lines that are very uneven. And there'll be some swapping. There'll be some changes in land. And the word that they will use is, they make changes. We're going to change the lines, the battle lines. Russia's occupied a big portion of Ukraine. They've occupied some very prime territory. We're going to try and get some of that territory back for Ukraine. But they've taken some very prime territory. They've taken largely ocean, in real estate we call it oceanfront property. That's always the most valuable property. If you're in a lake, a river, or an ocean, it's always the best property. Well, Ukraine, a lot of people don't know that Ukraine was largely 1,000 miles of ocean. That's gone. Other than one small area, Odessa, it's a small area. There's just a little bit of water left. So I'm going to go and see the parameters. Now, I may leave and say, good luck. And that'll be the end. I may say this is not going to be settled. I mean, there are those that believe that Putin wanted all of Ukraine. I happen to be one of them, by the way. I think if it weren't for me, he would not be even talking to anybody else right now. But I'm going to meet with him. We're going to see what the parameters are. I'm then going to call up President Zelensky and the European leaders. Right after the meeting, yeah. And I'm going to tell them what kind of a deal. I'm not going to make a deal. It's not up to me to make a deal. I think a deal should be made for both. I think Russia has to get back into building their country. It's a massive country. I think they have 11 time zones, if you can believe it. It's a massive, it's by far, from the standpoint of land, it's by far the largest.
Nobody's talking about this. That's something they don't want you to know. Only bigly intellects such as myself. Oh my God.
They have tremendous potential in Russia to do well. They're not doing well. Their economy is not doing well right now because it's been very well disturbed by this. It doesn't help when the President of the United States tells their largest or second largest oil buyer that we're putting a 50% tariff on you if you buy oil from Russia. That was a big blow. And then they say, gee, he wasn't so tough. Nobody else would have done that. And I haven't stopped there. I mean, look, I was all set to do things far bigger than that, but I got a call that they'd like to meet, and I'm going to see what they want to meet about. I'd like to see a ceasefire. I'd like to see the best deal that could be made for both parties. It takes two to tango, right? So ultimately, I'll have a meeting next week. I had a great relationship with him, considering the fact that, I was not nice to him because of the pipeline. I ended the pipeline. I also gave the javelins. Do you ever hear of a javelin? Javelin is called a tank buster. They say that
it's very big. Now, from the perspective of a tank, it's very big.
Obama gave them sheets and I gave them javelins. If it weren't for me, all those tanks that were destroyed at the first days of the war because the tanks got stuck in the mud, some commander made a better they would have been in Kiev in 4 hours going down the highway. But a Russian general made a brilliant decision to go through the farmland instead. And they just had torrential rains, and the rains were so bad, and it was mud, and those tanks got stuck in the mud. I don't know who that general is, but knowing Vladimir, he's probably not around any longer because all those tanks were stuck in the mud, and they went along with the javelins. I gave them the javelins. You know that, right? I gave them javelins. They gave them sheets. But I'm going to meet with President Putin, and we're going to see what he has in mind. And if it's a fair deal, I'll reveal it to the European Union leaders and to the NATO leaders.
We really do have the most cucked media in the world. I genuinely feel like in basically every other country that is even remotely democratic, there would be more pushback to this kind of like drawling nonsense speech, which is all he ever gives. It's literally every single day, every single event. He talks like this, and not a single journalist ever says, no, you're just wrong. Like follow-up question, are you stupid? I feel like you could go to Greece, you could go to Hungary, you could go to Italy, and there would be more of a punishment for incompetence than this. Like we are uniquely cucked. All the money in the world, and all it did was make us more subservient, more compliant. I feel like I'm an extra on The Naked Gun. It does feel like a joke. Like, fundamentally, the problem with democracy is that you're trusting the population to be capable of, at least to some extent, making good decisions and determinations about the character of the people they're electing, right? Like, it's very, very difficult to even argue for democracy in concept if a significant portion of the population looks at something like this and goes, yeah, that's okay. Like, at that point, the democracy just doesn't work. Like even as a first concept, you would just go, well, like, why would you ever, it'd be like arguing that the life of a pet would be best if it could eat whatever it wanted, and every day would just die after a day because it would eat all the flowers or whatever. But the people are retarded problem? Yeah, to an extent. It is a weird kind of like, it is a weird kind of democratic incompetence though, because historically, at least my understanding, historically, when democracy fails, it's because people vote for people that are evil, right? But in this case, it's not really the evil that's the issue, because there have been presidents that are more morally questionable than Trump. Maybe not as consequentially bad at this point with the US aid cuts and everything, but in terms of like people being obviously evil, right? I don't know, you could argue Jackson or to an extent Nixon. But I mean, Bush, certainly, in his second term. But in terms of just sheer incompetence, I don't know. How do you not look at this and go, like, this guy can't be trusted with anything? This guy can't be trusted with his own bedpan.
And also to President Zelensky, I think out of respect, I'll call him first. And then I'll call them after. And I may say, lots of luck, keep fighting, or I may say we can make a deal.
If not,
I will tell you this, I've seen a poll coming out of Ukraine. 88% of the people would like to see a deal made.
Curious.
And if you go back 3 years, everybody was gung-ho for war. Everybody's gung-ho for war until you have it. It's an amazing thing. I had it with a couple of countries where I couldn't get a deal done with one particular country. And I just couldn't. The guy's great. He's a friend of mine. Great. Good leader. Tough as hell. I couldn't get the deal done. And then he went into war for a short period of time. You know where I'm talking about. First term. And it was nasty. Guys being killed all over the place. And he went through 1 week of war, and I was able to get the deal done. He said, this is nasty. So look. Let's just do this. Let's do this. It's going to be a big thing. We're going to Russia. That's going to be a big deal. What happens, happens. I'll let you know what happens. You'll be the first to know. I'll be calling the European leaders. I'm going with totally, I mean, we have a lot of talks. They're great people. They're great leaders, actually, and they want to get back. Honestly, as one of them said, I've OD'd on trying to settle Ukraine. They've OD'd, meaning they've overdosed on the settlement of Ukraine. Not a nice expression, but boy, is it accurate. They're tired of it. They want to get back to spending money on their countries. You know, Biden gave them $350 billion. Europe gave $100 billion. It should be much more than that. Shouldn't have been that kind of, they should have had equalization, but they didn't. But you know what? Still a lot of money. They want to get back to building their own countries. They really want it resolved. My relationship with the European leaders, as you saw, is extremely good. It's perfect. It's beautiful. Wait. And we're going to try. I'll be in touch with them. I have 5 of them call me. You think it's easy? There are a lot of European leaders, but they rely on me. Very much rely on me. If it wasn't,
I guess it's not really just American media, right? It's like everyone is a huge pussy when it comes to Trump, because there have been multiple instances now where people in the European political community definitely should have just talked him, like read him the riot act, right? Like not just Starmer, who is a huge pussy, but like basically every world leader has been capitulating nonstop. It's his second term, man. He's ancient and everyone knows how this is going to go down, right? They are not building a Fourth Reich. Maybe we fall to some kind of like indefinite Palantir surveillance state, but the Trump mandate is limited by his lifespan or by his cognitive abilities. I mean, he can't keep going forever, you know? Why are you cementing your legacy as the guy who just kept rolling your eyes and going along with it?
for me, this thing would never get solved until the last person breathing is dead.
Would you talk to them before?
Mr. President, I'm talking to him right now. So I'm talking to the European leaders. I'll be talking to President Zelensky. I'm going to get everybody's ideas. I go into that thing fully loaded right up there, and we're going to see what happens. Now, I think one of two things is going to happen. It's going to be a good meeting, and we'll go a step further. We'll get it done. I'd like to see a ceasefire very, very quickly. Very quick. I'd like to see it immediately, but I'd like to see it very quickly. And we're going to be dealing with the European leaders, and we're going to be dealing with President Zelensky, and hopefully we're going to have a great success.
Thank you, Hindustan Times. Thank you, thank you. Voice of the nation since 1924. That's pretty early. That's pretty early. Are you guys there yet? Jesus fucking Christ, these people are never going to talk. It's two old men, both getting their fucking hemorrhoid cream applied or something. Crazy how they're more willing to ask hard questions of Putin than of Trump. Yeah, of course, because, you know, Putin doesn't really have any power over them. The German press is equally cucked. Just remember the G7 summit where Schultz dodged a question by a foreign journalist because she didn't use perfect grammar and all the other German journalists laughed, so it's not just the US. I don't think German press is anywhere near as cucked as American press. I don't even think it's comparable, okay? I've seen DW talks. I've seen how they interview their prospective leaders, and I know they're still complicit, but we are on another fucking level. On Gaza, they are more cucked? Maybe, yeah, on Gaza, maybe they're more cucked. Maybe they're equally cucked. Maybe they're equally cucked. Dude, they're just never fucking talking, man. Pursuing peace. Was media ever good? Not good, but it definitely used to be the case that the media was willing to critically investigate politicians a lot more aggressively. But they've always had like issues they were told to shut the fuck up on, right? Like Vietnam, the Iraq War, McCarthyism. There were issues where they were basically made to fall in line, but eventually, inevitably, the cracks began to show, right? Initially, you got like video reporting out of Vietnam, which the government hated because it made the war look bad. And there was media complicity, but like it kind of seeped through more and more over time. The war was increasingly unpopular. But I have never seen this kind of media complicity when it comes to the overwhelming incompetence of our president. You know, And I mean that. Like, the media was always willing to be complicit when our president was being evil. When Nixon and Kissinger were illegally bombing, Laos and Cambodia, when they were fucking up the Vietnam War, these were evil, and also largely incompetent, ineffective acts, and the press was complicit to a large extent. But there's a big difference between that kind of incompetence and Trump just being a blithering idiot 24/7 up at the podium. Like, there's just a difference there. They feel different. There is a difference because Nixon and Kissinger could still go up to a microphone and coherently articulate what they were doing, even if they were evil and lying. Also, yeah, investigative journalism is dead. Who will be at the big podium in the middle? The shadow president. John Cena's there. Anyone seen Peacemaker? I'm only just now watching season 1 of Peacemaker. Really enjoying it. The reason I didn't watch it right off the bat is because I didn't realize James Gunn was the director. I didn't know. I wasn't paying attention to anything DC related. Now I've watched Superman. I'm waking up. The gun don't jam. Unironically, everything I've seen so far, both of Peacemaker Season 1 and, of course, Superman, just mogs everything Marvel's been doing over the past... At the very least since Thor Ragnarok, but probably since Iron Man. I've seen Creature Commandos. Except Guardians of the Galaxy? Okay, maybe Guardians 2. Maybe Guardians 2. But that was Gunn, though? Oh, shit, you're right. That was also Gunn. He's on a fucking hot streak, man. The gun really doesn't jam. Have you seen Daredevil? No. What, was that also James Gunn? Anti-SJWs hate him. I think it's mostly Snyderverse fans that hate him because Snyder did a fucking awful job with the DC cinematic universe, and Snyder has like this weird chud army of like incel conspiracy theorists, even though Snyder himself apparently isn't right-wing, but the stuff Snyder makes feels like it because it's all grim, dark, edgy bullshit. So it attracts people who like the darkness and hate wokeness, but it's being made by a guy who's progressive, and I don't get it. I don't get it. Watch the Suicide Squad by Gunn. Yeah, I didn't even know there were 2 Suicide Squad movies until I heard that. Well, until I watched the opening crawl of Peacemaker and saw that he had been introduced in the second one. Man of Steel feels very LARPy American conservative. Dude, Man of Steel sucks. It's awful. Have you seen it? It's really bad. It, like, for one, it's just boring, but it's also like, why the fuck does Superman never smile? Why is he in this like weird armor shrink wrap? Why is everything so dark? Why does it feels like Snyder's just playing with action figures, like edgy 90s action figures, you know? Man of Steel is pretty good. It's not. And I'm not anti, Henry Cavill or what. It's just like you're clearly unwilling to engage with the nuance of the characters. Well, anyway. I gotta see Aquaman. I gotta see the Wonder Woman movies. I gotta see how bad they get. Why would you do that? I don't know. To appreciate gun more. To reflect on how much the gun is loaded. Alright, well, I guess we're just fucking waiting for this forever. I don't know when the scheduled speaking time actually is. I probably should have checked that. You see the new Shuanha video? Why do people ask me shit like this? I don't watch political content off stream. Trump sends out fundraising email about his Putin meeting. What are you fundraising for, man? World leaders take no questions as they start their meeting. That was 46 minutes ago, so I guess the meeting goes on for an hour. Then they go out for the press conference. The whole thing is just for the fundraising. Have you seen the violent response against the Serbian protests? Okay. Don't ask me, have I seen X? Just give me the topic. War? Clashes erupt for a second day at anti-government protests in Serbia in a major escalation. Are the protesters actually, like, repping a good cause, or are they just mad that the government hasn't invaded Kosovo yet? Yes to both, I think? Okay. Are we staying live for 6 to 7 hours? They can't talk for that long. There have been ongoing protests ever since 16 people died in a train station collapse. Okay, just anti-corruption protests then. I said this earlier. Peskov has said the meeting is 6 to 7 hours minimum. Do you think you could have mentioned that at some point while I was just staring at the live video feed? Or they don't even have it up there now. I was just staring at those two podiums. At some point during that, you could have mentioned, like, they're going to be in there for 7 hours. Ridiculous. I said that, you are blind. Say it more. Risk the ban. Don't be a pussy. If you're curious, here's a translation of the alleged way the Kremlin wants their media to cover these talks. I'm not curious. Fuck you. Paste bin link? Absolutely not. This is the video I was talking about. Shu defends the Sydney Sweeney ad. I don't care. It's crazy. You people make me never want to be friends with anyone, man. Why Tesla Cybertrucks aren't selling? It's always some goddamn shit.
The Tesla Cybertruck. In a country where pickup trucks are half of the top 10 selling vehicles, making an electric one seemed like a no-brainer. At the time the pickup debuted.
The hype. Why the truck is not selling.
So what went wrong?
It fell short of the projected range. It fell short of the projected payload capacity. It fell short of the projected towing capacity. It fell short of the projected speed, and it fell way short of the projected price. It's far more expensive than they had said in the first place.
Specs aside, the design was certainly eye-catching, but it was off-putting and even cumbersome for many of the customers who use pickup trucks for work, and that is a large portion of the truck market.
The side of the bed, I think, is still difficult to get into. I mean, one of the things that you do with pickup is put things inside of it. You can't reach the side of the Cybertruck. It's very difficult to do so from near the cab.
Full-size truck buyers are a fairly conservative set of people, and I don't necessarily mean politically so much as I mean in their expectations. They're often buying a truck that they're going to work with. So those
No, they're fucking not, dude. Come on. I am not participating in this collective delusion that Americans have that the average pickup truck owner has a blue-collar construction hauling job. Come the fuck on, okay?
Specifications for how hard it actually works are very important.
And then there is the range. The company had targeted up to 500 miles, but delivered something closer to 300.
Yeah.
The Cybertruck is Peter Scott's third Tesla.
Oh my
He
God.
also has a Model S and Model X. He got into EVs after news broke of the Volkswagen Dieselgate cheating scandal. At the time, Scott was driving a diesel-powered VW. He loved his first two Teslas.
Felt like I owed them more money. It was the first car I didn't have buyer's remorse. I was so happy because everywhere I turned, I had no gas payment. I had no repair payment. I mean, it was a beautiful thing.
Repair payment? What?
Scott is a contractor and he needed a work truck. He paid the full $120,000 for the Cyber Beast. When he bought it, he was disappointed with the range, but Tesla had said it would offer a range extender. That would bump the range up to 470 miles, close to the original 500-mile target. But the range extender was canceled.
Okay, 470 versus 500, that's fine. I'll go ahead and buy the truck knowing I'm going to get 470 miles.
They're way simpler for maintenance. There is no fucking way that a Cybertruck is simpler for maintenance than any other widely available vehicle in the market. There's absolutely no way. These things rust on contact with water. You're advised to dry them yourself.
I put the deposit down on the range extender. I bought the truck knowing that...
Oh, that you mean electric vehicles in general? Okay, yeah, sure. Just not the Cybertruck.
I was going to get 470 miles. Then when they canceled it, that just crushed me. They got my money and then they canceled what they were going to do. If I knew that then, I would have looked at a Silverado, because the Silverado has the mileage that I'm looking for.
As with many other Tesla products and plans, the Cybertruck suffered many development and production delays and challenges. Some of these, the company said, resulted from production shutdowns and supply chain shortages common to automakers during the coronavirus pandemic. Setbacks have only continued. There have also been ongoing production and quality problems. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration shows Tesla conducted 8 voluntary recalls for the 2024 model year alone. Many pertained to physical defects, not just software. One was over body panels falling off the truck due to the use of improper adhesives. Another was for a trapped accelerator pedal defect that caused some drivers to experience frightening unintended acceleration. Tesla did not respond to CNBC's request for an interview or comment.
What feels weird is I feel guilty for the people that had all those problems. I didn't have all those problems like they did.
Keenan Cobra Curtis did have a fair bit of trouble with his Foundation Series Cybertruck, much of which he documented on his YouTube channel.
In fairness, I have not seen any positive coverage of the Cybertruck from the vehicle tech and, just like machinery inspection YouTube communities, like Jerry Rigs everything in that, everything in that space, it's just been nonstop, like the Cybertruck is worse than you thought type stuff. They all trashed it for the most part, except for the super grifters. Yeah. Elon Musk response to the CNBC segment.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself. But
you guys see that polling that Elon Musk is like the most unpopular man in America? Because the right wing hates him now because of his multiple public breakups with Trump, but the left wing has hated him for years. He's now just like universally despised. Fuck, that's funny. And yet he's still the richest in the world. Yeah, it really makes you question whether or not the whole thing is actually a meritocracy.
Coming down!
This is them arresting the guy who threw the sandwich at the federal officer in DC. This is the video they produced. Apparently, the sandwich guy offered to turn himself in, and they declined because they wanted to make this video. Like he was like, okay, yeah, I'll go in. And they were like, no. Stay at your residence. We've got a camera crew and 25 guys coming. Clown country? Seriously. Run it one more time for the clip.
Coming down!
This isn't going to play well for the actual case. I got good news for you. The charges were dismissed immediately. The federal government pushed for felony assault charges, and the judge was like, felony assault for the sandwich? Come on, and tossed them. And he's free again. So there you go. Yeah, that's the level we're on, pretty much. Wow, really dismissed? No way sandwich attacks are allowed? No, if they'd charged him with something lighter, then it probably would have stuck, because he did commit a crime. But the idiot federal government pushed for felony assault charges. So it got tossed, because that's ridiculous. Do you think propaganda like this is convincing because the average American thinks arrests and convictions are the same thing? Yeah, probably. The White House for months now has been posting screenshot or like you know, perp photos of people, like so-and-so has been arrested for X. And it's like, damn, dude, we're really just we're really putting people's names and faces out there from the White House account for an arrest? Not for a conviction, for an arrest? I don't know. So much for the presumption of innocence. Yeah, here you go. Maybe I'm too woke, but shouldn't you at least wait for a conviction before posting a citizen's face in the official White House Twitter account? On the plus side, this ridiculous, ham-fisted fascist bullshit probably will help their cases in court because it poisons the well so much. Like, how the fuck are you going to get an unbiased jury when the White House is posting shit like this off of an arrest? Just an arrest, not a conviction. They also put out this fucking video. Is this the Defend the Homeland trucks? Yeah.
My heart's so cold, I think I'm done.
Fucking music, man. Defend the home. Home what? Defend the home. Homeland. Yeah. Dude, for a second, I thought the chains and bollards here or whatever, the chains and posts were part of the paint job. That shit would look hard. If you wanted to do if you wanted to go full like soy fascism and you had like the paint decal of the chains on the side, that would look pretty good, in my opinion. Very good. The F-150 seems like the worst kind of law enforcement vehicle. Well, it's not like they're actually using it to do law enforcement. They just got a custom job for a couple of cars to use for videos. It's so soy, dude. It's all so fucking soy. None of it, no actual effort is being made to do fascism. It's all LARPing. This is what happens when your fascist government, top to bottom, is staffed with wannabe content creators. Everyone's a Marjorie Taylor Greene or a Nancy Mace or whatever. No one actually has the will for a bottom to top, reconstruction of the government or the paperwork or all the legwork that would go into actually deconstructing the democracy. So instead you just get these lazy LARP attempts that play well for a camera, maybe play well for a camera. I mean, all that for 32,000 likes. Seriously, that's why this was done. 32,000 likes. You're not convincing any new people. It's not a real propaganda effort. It was made for a post. For a post! "20 officers came to arrest man charged with throwing sandwich at a police officer in D.C., his lawyer says. Fuck you, CNN. Come on, CNN. Yeah, 1 second. I feel so safe now. As you should. As you should. It doesn't matter how soy you are, or how soy they are, Vosh. They got their video, they got their message to scare people into compliance, and it probably works. No, it doesn't. That's the thing. Like, it is literally just, oh, this is the other one. Like, this shit doesn't impress anybody. It's widely mocked. These aren't effective propaganda efforts. They're not meaningfully uniting anyone towards their cause. The thing with the Reichstag burning is at least people thought it was convincing. Look, I'm not saying that it's not a threat. It is a threat. I'm just saying that I really don't think any of the people trying to destroy American democracy have the willpower to do all the groundwork that would be necessary to destroy democracy. Building an alternative system, the mass purges, the escalation of violence, the executions, the exiles, the deportations. It seems like they keep doing a little bit, like they want to get away with it, and they do a little bit, but like they only do just enough so they can make a Twitter post about it. Like, think about it. Why haven't they been doing more extra-legal deportations? We got a little bump of it with CCOT down in El Salvador, and we have a couple dozen people who have been deported to countries that are not their country of origin, sent over to, Sudan or Libya or fucking Eritrea or New Guinea or whatever the fuck, But like, why haven't they done more? They built Alligator Alcatraz, but now they're taking people out of it because construction has been halted because a judge has paused it. Are they ignoring judges' rulings or not? I'm telling you, they don't have the fucking, and this is what I mean about like a pale imitation. This is what I meant the other day when I rambled for what felt like forever about inertia, So much of our system, it's so big and complicated, it involves so many people, so many systems, so many agreements, that nobody can deconstruct anything. Man, it's difficult enough to like break down an existing social structure in a fucking Minecraft server, It's difficult enough to change policy in a Discord server with a few hundred people. The idea of shifting gears and changing course in a country that has this much weight behind its current, velocity, it's overwhelming. So they pick away at it a little bit, and they do showboating with these direct but ultimately ineffectual expressions of authoritarian crackdowns. And then what does it actually lead to? In a lot of cases, nothing. The Kilmar Abrego Garcia shit obviously was symbolically valuable, but as a percentage of the total number of undocumented immigrants in the United States, how many of them have actually been deported? Basically none. And follow-up question, has there been any actual effort towards mobilizing the kind of resources that would be required to remove that many people from the country? No! The federal government can barely keep up with constructing the new facilities necessary to house people. I don't know. I'm not saying they're not dangerous. They are dangerous. But I think it's a different kind of danger. It's not the danger that a lot of people think it is. Organized, militant, cohesive deconstruction of democracy, right? In a way, it's more sinister. It's incompetent, disorganized, hypocritical, even to its own principles, and largely ineffectual. But that doesn't mean they can't break the systems that already exist. Thinking about it, I think one big difference is the original Nazis and Hitler were ready to genuinely gamble a lot and took risks. The whole thing, like, we could have been stopped type thing. I think that's true, man. I really think that a huge part of the difference between Mussolini and Hitler and what we've got going on today is that Mussolini and Hitler both grew up in a time where life was very cheap. Trump is a Ponzi, gay, little East Coast celebrity real estate TV boy. He is pampered fucking hands. His hands have never seen hard labor, okay? His life to him is infinitely valuable. Hitler fought in World War I, okay? He was a runner. He was delivering messages, climbing over bodies. I think that back then people were just more willing to take risks because they valued life a lot less. It was the same with Pol Pot. People ask, how could Pol Pot have killed so many people? Because Pol Pot grew up in a time where everyone was dying all the time for no reason. But you can't say that about anybody in Trump's cabinet today. Nobody there is willing to take these kinds of risks. Not even ICE agents are. Like, even, God, we live in a country where simultaneously police officers are thought of as authoritarian, overly violent, reflexive, and incapable of conflict de-escalation. But also, when an actual shooting happens, they're massive pussies who just sit outside the shooting venue for 45 minutes, waiting tepidly until somebody finally goes in to deal with the shooter who killed himself 12 minutes ago after already emptying every magazine he had into everyone in the building. How do you get that? How do you get a world where police officers are thuggish, brutal, violent, and stupid, but also massive cowards? If you got a person with that behavioral matrix, that personality matrix, and you put them in the world 500 years ago, they would run into battle. You know that, right? Like, if you took somebody with the personality matrix of a Los Angeles Police Department officer and you put them in, like, you know, you're actually now a mercenary in 1632, go get them, boys. They would be, oh, they'd be charging in. They'd be fucking going on in there. They wouldn't give a shit. Why? Because they would have grown up watching everyone around them die to the plague, or like random executions for sedition against the king, or starvation during a bad winter because they got a bad crop harvest the previous spring. Like, am I making any sense? This is what this administration can do, okay? This administration can tell a person who threw a sandwich at a federal officer to wait at his house so 20 officers can show up and make a gay Twitter clip of them epically owning him with an arrest, only for him to immediately be turned back out on the street because the judge goes, what the fuck? What is this? A felony assault? Are you kidding me? Wham, back onto the streets. You're saying society lost its sauce? I think it is. I think it's a big part of the reason why everything feels like a pale imitation. It is genuinely very, very, very difficult to do fascism when everyone is terrified of death. Why does Vosh think he sounds cool when he calls things gay? It's cringe. Why do you think I sound cool when I say it? Maybe it's just part of my lexicon. You're projecting a lot of intent there, my friend. I just think it's difficult to do fascism when everyone is terrified of death. And I don't think it's a coincidence, by the way, that the countries that are still willing to instigate these mass conflicts are ones where lives are still very cheap. Russia. Russia has had a pretty indifferent attitude towards the well-being of its own citizenry for a long time, both in a governmental and interpersonal sense. It's a common theme in Russian art. Life for Russians has just not been that good. No one wants to jump for the beef, man. No one wants to jump for the beef. India? I disagree. India doesn't actually want war. Neither does China. Why? Because the lives of people in India and China are both improving. The lives for Russian people have been getting worse or stagnating for decades. China and India are rapidly industrializing and growing. Their population is something to lose. This is the point that I made the other day. You have eras where people believe in civilizational progress and eras where people don't. I don't think the people in Russia believe in civilizational progress that much. For literally like 50, 60 years, they have been stagnating. Israel has the sauce? I disagree. No, they don't. I think that Israel is a pussy country full of pussies, and that's why they have so many goddamn whingy think pieces about how IDF soldiers are killing themselves over the guilt and remorse of slaughtering hundreds of babies. They want to fight an asymmetrical conflict where they sit behind their computer terminals and fire, drone missiles at unoccupied buildings or occupied ones, whatever, They don't actually want conflict or war, which is why they're so nervous. That's why they're always so self-victimizing. It's why they're always beckoning the United States for help. They don't actually want war. The people of Yemen, the people of Lebanon, though, Hezbollah, they're ready for it. Why? Because they don't live in fucking Tel Aviv. I actually think this explains a lot of conflict. You have countries where things are getting better, and therefore, people value their life and they want to hold on to it. And you have places where life hasn't really been getting better, or life is very cheap, and people are a lot more willing to fight there. Myanmar, Sudan, right? Libya, ongoing. Somalia, ongoing. There are places where people are willing to fight, and America is just not one of them. Vosh, this is an insane take. The aughts were bringing a lot of material improvements for Russians. No, I'm not gonna be particular about every economic development, but like nationally in Russia, there is an understanding that they are in a period of decline, which is why so many of their reactionaries are like Russian imperial or Soviet revanchists who fantasize about the good old days where they had national prestige and standing. Like, I acknowledge that it's not as though there's been no development since the fall of the Soviet Union, but culturally, not only is there I think, generally looser attitude towards the sanctity of human life over there, and has been for a long time, but also, like, the idea that things are getting better? So what Vosh is saying is that the British are going to start a war again? Honestly, I think that might be something to look out for in the future. Yeah. I think that if England keeps declining the way that it has, like give it a couple of decades, I think it's not impossible that they start doing the declining empire thing of, trading lives for glory. Yeah. Not right now because their entire, like the country is run by pensioners, but, maybe. It doesn't sound right. Not right now. So Japan and South Korea will do war too. I think the problem with Japan and South Korea is that even though they're declining in some respects, it's a different kind of decline, right? Japan and South Korea both have like very inert, stale, stagnant cultures in a lot of respects, certainly with regards to like gender politics, immigration, stuff like that. But Japan's still kind of a nice place in a lot of its cities. It's declining in a lot of respects, but you look around the place that a lot of Japanese people live, and it looks pretty good. Not the rural areas, but like most people don't live there, I think that in the long run, that might be a concern. Keep in mind, though, that life expectancy is really high in both South Korea and Japan. So they do have, at the very least, like they prioritize long-term health and well-being. Isn't that going to exacerbate their population pyramid issues, though? Yes, and in the long run, that is probably going to lead to the problems that I'm talking about. But we don't need to investigate every country on Earth. I'm not an expert in every country on Earth, okay? I just think that you can probably draw a positive correlation between a country's willingness to put their balls on the table and how little they think of their own lives. Either because they have, like, low life expectancy in general, or because they feel like they have nothing to live for as a civilization in the near future. You love tabled ball analogies? It's not really an analogy, it's just a turn of phrase. Do you think America is at risk of getting to that point? No, not for a long while. America is, for all of its problems, still an overwhelmingly comfortable, treat the right country. Like we're talking about a cost of living crisis in an environment where a lot of young people still have smartphones, cars, and DoorDash orders. You know, we're not really talking about deprivation, not meaningfully. That being said, the life expectancy does look like it's beginning to tip downward. So over time, you know, things might skew in that direction. I'm not really sure. Who knows? No one can see the future. I think America is a weird case where the decline has definitely started. Like everything the Trump admin is doing is we must rebuild the empire stuff, but simultaneously they won't commit because the decline isn't bad enough for them to actually care. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. It's really difficult to get this like insane, you know, we must rebuild the Reich bullshit when the decline we're talking about is like a rise in real estate prices and education costs, and also jobs are hard to find. Like, that sucks. The economy is bad right now, and it's going to get worse, don't get me wrong. But before the Nazis in Germany, they had the Great Depression. Like, they were fucking printing Reichsmarks in the millions, and people were carrying them around in wheelbarrows to insulate their homes with them. You know? The degree of hardship was not significant enough to get people to care little enough about their lives. Do you think we're on the verge of another Great Depression? Probably not a Great Depression. Probably more like a slow, grinding decline as climate change and our fragile trade systems kind of like wean out, you know? Yeah. My boss said Canada is closer to civil war than America, Lamau. This is why I've always rejected the civil war discourse. You know, it seems like it's always been really dumb and larpy. I don't really get it. Like, you seriously think states are at risk of going to war with each other? Like, what on earth would make you think? Like, India and Pakistan have been trading off shots at the border for decades, and they haven't had a proper war. Not in a long, long time. Where are you seeing these like shots being fired between like you know, Idaho and Washington State police across the border? It's nothing even remotely close. Yeah, there's no bleeding Kansas shit going on. Civil war isn't the issue. It's just like a slow, grinding decline of the empire, right? PNW needs to move against California. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not convinced, Scheherazade. I am not convinced. You guys see this shit? The inevitable consequence of everyone doing, you know, stop right there in the name of the law. Genital check bullshit. A teen filed a discrimination charge against a Buffalo Wild Wings restaurant after having to expose herself to prove she was a woman. A server reportedly stopped her from using the woman's restroom and told her to get out until she revealed herself under her top. Shocking? Yeah. Remarkable. Who could have guessed it would lead to this, apart from everyone immediately, all the time? This is what they want. Well, I mean, it's, you know, you don't need to be a genius to understand there's a pretty direct correlation between transphobes and people who think the Me Too movement was an anti-man hate brigade, right? I'd throw hands. Yeah, honestly, there's like no legal authority by which they can do that, but it is like an excuse to harass these people. Unshockingly, they also targeted a non-white woman. Yeah. You know, obvious. There's like a million like obvious lines here. From a fucking server too. Jesus Christ. Honestly, I wish that the lawsuit didn't even go to Buffalo Wild Wings. I wish you could just annihilate this server. Because it's not like this Buffalo Wild Wings location had a policy of go do titty inspections or whatever. That's not... It like, oh, at least probably they didn't, would be my guess. You know? I wish you could just annihilate this one person specifically from orbit. Garrett Kamudra, 18, went to dinner in April with a friend in Owatonna, about an hour south of Minneapolis. When she went in the bathroom, a server followed her inside and banged on the stall door while saying, "This is a woman's restroom. The man needs to get out of here." According to Gender Justice, a Minnesota gender equality organization that filed the charge on Mudra's behalf. Mudra, a biracial lesbian who isn't transgender. Worth remembering, of course, that even if she was transgender, it wouldn't change the nature of the dynamic here. Said that she's been in similar situations before when people have suggested she's in the wrong restroom, but that's when she tells them she's a woman, they leave her alone. However, when she came out of the stall at Buffalo Wild Wings and told the server, "I'm a lady," she said, the server responded, "You have to get out now," Gender Justice said in a statement. Mudra said she felt she had to prove to the server that she is a woman, so she unzipped her hoodie to show that she has breasts. The server didn't say anything in response, but left the red room. Oh, okay, so she unzipped her hoodie to, like, show her boobs through her shirt. Okay. The title was ambiguous, or the Twitter such and such was ambiguous. So she didn't force her? Yeah, I mean, I didn't think she had forced her. I just thought, like, it was a sexual harassment inquiry. Doesn't really change the dynamic there. Lamau clickbaited? Well, no, it's still the same thing, isn't it? Like, my assumption was just that the server followed her into the restroom and said, like, you know, prove you're a woman or whatever. I think this is still fundamentally the same kind of sexual harassment. I mean, we'll see how it plays out in the legal case. Also, I do like, though, the implication that, like, this is not an own a trans woman could use. Like, trans women don't have breasts. Right? Like, it's just shocking to me, or it's revealing of how low IQ transphobia is, that they would get sort of assuaged by that. Not that I'm suggesting that the transphobes should be like, all right, show me your bits or whatever. I'm just saying that, like, it reveals how little they understand about anything. But the server wasn't a guy. No, they're in the women's restroom. The server's a lady. Not that that changes anything. She made me feel very uncomfortable, Murderer said. After that, I just don't like going in public bathrooms. I just hold it in. I want to be able to use the bathroom in peace. Jesus. This may not have been motivated by transphobia. It was motivated by transphobia. Under what other circumstances would you go after? Like, no. It's ridiculous. It was motivated by racism? I mean, maybe. I think the transphobia thing is a little bit more likely, but we can throw it all in there. I don't care. Most of my butch friends are hesitant to use public bathrooms and have been for years. Yeah, they keep getting fucking harassed. There's a bunch of stories like this on social media. It's just a lot of them don't end in lawsuits. Gender Justice said Mudra's experience reflects a broader climate of fear and suspicion aimed at anyone who doesn't conform to narrow expectations of what girls and women should look like. That suspicion has been driven largely by the wave of state legislation targeting trans people, particularly their access to school sports and bathrooms that align with their gender identities, even though Minnesota hasn't enacted any such legislation. 19 states have laws that prohibit trans people from using bathrooms that align with their gender identities in K-12 schools, and in many of those states, the restrictions apply to other government-owned buildings. 27 states prohibit trans people from playing on school sports teams that align with their gender identities. Even before such laws, trans people had long reported facing harassment in public restrooms and avoided using them as a result. There have been several reports this year of women who aren't trans alleging harassment in public bathrooms because they were suspected of being trans, including at the U.S. Capitol in January, Phoenix in February, Florida in March, and Boston in May. I do hate the idea that, like, the argument against these laws or against this behavior is that it might misfire and hit cis people, as though it's not equally bad when it hits trans people. Even if Mudra had been trans, she would be able to file a discrimination complaint under state law in Minnesota. Based. Well, I hope she wins. It's a bad argument, but if it works, yeah, I mean, there are more cis people than trans people, so it is important to understand that these problems affect like lots and lots and lots of people. You know, you just can't get too in your head about it, right? No, well, the problem with you know, the problem with racism is that it might one day affect white people. You gotta be careful. These polling station literacy tests may catch white voters too. Well, that's what the grandfather clause was for. Don't be a pussy, defend your people, Vosh. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not white. How was the Hassan Piker GQ interview? Has anyone read it? I'm sure you probably haven't read it because most people are illiterate now, but you like watched your favorite streamer go over it. How was it? I only saw the pictures. Jesus Christ, you people. I read it. Good for you, Ada Lovelace. It's a weird puff piece defending Hassan. I mean, isn't that fine? I don't know. Considering the fact that there's like 5 non-fascist prominent public figures these days. I don't know. It seems good to, you know, focus in a different direction. I don't know. There was Puff, but they were honest about things like his Israel stances. Wouldn't being honest about it also be puffery because he's anti-genocide? You should go over it. But I can't. It's behind the paywall. Hassan Piker thinks America might be cooked. Really leaning in on the sex appeal, huh? And you don't have any money? That's true. Martial law. Canceled elections. The combative leftist streamer Hassan Piker predicts an ominous possible future for the U.S. He's fighting back the only way he knows how, by raging against Trump, Israel, Democrats, and the wannabe bad boys of the manosphere, in between beefs with his ops and gym sessions with the boys. Pretty good. Here's how Hassan Piker starts each day. Working out, shooting the shit. It's Monday at 8:30 and we're in the backyard of a house in West Hollywood where there's a makeshift private gym with benches, pull-down machines, and dumbbells galore. This is where the 34-year-old political... I thought he was 38. Was that a bit? 34-year-old political influencer keeps his thirsted after bod fit, joined by a few other neighborhood characters, including a guy who works on Pod Save America. His Bernese beefcake Kaya tussles with a few other golden brown dogs. As Piker burns through his 70-minute workout, exhausting himself in the process, he strips his shirt off. An army of girls and gays, not to mention admiring looks-maxers, would kill to be where I am now, next to Piker, as he pants in a pair of neon shorts with black Calvin Klein boxers poking out, and sunlight glinting off the sweat beaded on his chest hairs. Okay, so this is by Kieran Press Reynolds. Meet the young men paying to attend Mogwarts, an online school for becoming hot. Now you see where you get the vernacular from. Wonder if this guy has an AO3 profile. I want to go there. Yeah, it's pretty good. No, sorry. Not even a preview. Not even a preview. Full articles on archive? Yeah. It's always like that. I didn't know it was this kind of puff piece though, you know? Piker's trainers fibbed to me about how much he's bench pressing. 300 pounds? Before the real number comes out, 175. Really? I would figure it'd be higher. Semen retention exercises, ballerina cups. Piker starts describing how a chicken wrap he's been loving recently is very fibrous and bottom friendly. Have I been having anal sex? No. I've always had nice poops. This is Stolen Valor, I think. Yeah, everyone wants to act gay until the dick's in front of your face. You know what I'm saying? Everyone wants to be gay when you're tweeting. But then, you know, you're out there on the streets in real life and all of a sudden it's inconvenient. Hassan has said it was just warm-ups. That's why the weight is so low. Okay, so what you're saying is people were ribbing him for that. That's what you're saying. Here's Piker's supplement stack. 1 espresso shot. Dude, I'm fucking cooked. I've been using my Nespresso every morning. I'm like, all right, time for my morning drink. And then I fill up my cup with 2 double espressos. Like, my morning drink of 500 milligrams of caffeine. Hell yeah, brother. Four creatine pills, fish oil, zinc, ashwagandha. I don't know if it works. I just take it. Minoxidil and finasteride. All right, he's shooting ropes. Very good. Grew up in Turkey. Ejected him from the DNC. The Nelk Boys. That's interesting. I asked point blank if he's dating Valkyrie, the massively popular gaming streamer, and he looked freaked out. Oh, come on, don't put that in the article, Piker says. I just want to keep certain things private. I don't even want to fuel speculations. Think of me as an asexual being. Bottom friendly. I wonder how much stuff like this sells with people. You know? Like, I wonder how many people see stuff like this and they get, they get motivated by it, you know? This article in particular, it's just weird. I've always felt like one of the big problems with left advocacy is that we're too self-aware. Like, obviously, one of the main ways we lose young men is that young men think that women are evil because they won't give up the puss, you know? And then they get tricked by online right-wing influencers who say, well, the reason why you aren't getting laid right now is because of, we didn't do the Fourth Reich. It's because of the Jews and feminism, and which is also the Jews and stuff like that, you know? They're totally not self-aware about it. The right isn't really talking about this as a coherent strategy, but the left is like, we need people willing to combat the online manosphere. And it's, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? It's like, well, we need to combat this with our own strategy. And it's like, okay, okay. This is for suburban women, that's GQ's audience. Listen, thirst bait with people. I don't fucking care. It's GQ, you know? Everyone thinks they're better than this shit. Every right-wing influencer does like, you know, every month they do like 50 fucking sponsorships with uncredible companies, or they do collabs, they meet up with people. It's all in search of the bag. But over on the left, it's like, is it really responsible of you to advocate for Palestinian liberation in a format that celebrates the physical fitness of your body, which is a kind of body fascism? I think we talk too much is the problem. I think we just need to shut the fuck up and we need to put the leftism in the bag, basically. Where's your thirst traps then, Vosh? Fake fan. This is what we're losing young men to? It's hoe math? Didn't we cover this motherfucker before? It's way too late for me to have a real life. I'm not getting married. I'm not ever having a real relationship. I'm never going to build a house or buy one and make it the way I like it. I don't have the time or energy or any of that. I'm an adult adolescent until death now. I got no chance to start any kind of life that makes sense. You know, I'm 40, right? I didn't know that. I assumed the hoe math guy must have been like 25 at the oldest. Ooh. Yeah, wait, maybe he's right. I'm not in great health from stress issues stemming from the pandemic, and I can't handle 100% of my own needs, never mind a family. Sure, there's a lot that I can contribute to the world, but I'm not going to... So basically, like, this is what the right is offering men, okay? The right is constructing Wojaks, you know, to sell narratives made up by guys like this. I'm still not fully certain what the phrase "just put the blank in the bag" means. Just put the understanding of streaming terminology in the bag. Jesus, people are like sympathizing with him too. I'm trying to find his post for where he goes off on blaming Jews and feminism for why he doesn't have a family. Definitely feminism. I don't know if he Jew posts. He does Jew post. Is that true? I don't see him Jew posting. Yeah, I don't see any Jew posting. Maybe he does. But that's all right. He definitely they posts. Oh, everyone they posts. Oh, man. I'm always doing this. Same brother. Same brother. Whoo! Whoo! Literally, who cares? This is what the black pill gets you. Yeah, but it's important to like point that out, you know? Maybe you shouldn't be getting fucking dating advice from people who are like one alcohol binge or away from killing themselves. Yeah, who knows, Arexial? Who the fuck knows? What's echo posting? When you do the echoes around anything you say is Jewish. Like the Nazis used to do that a lot, but now they don't have to because on Twitter you can just say Jewish now. Because it's a Nazi pedophile site. Gotta work on your falsetto. Yeah, well, you have to work on... Probably got dirty dishes in your sink, don't you? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I think I found the clip. Clip of what? Oh, yeah, I see. Looks like DC is starting to win as they fight back legally against the DOJ. Well, that's nice. Judge started to hear these arguments pretty quickly. I'm glad they fast-tracked it. The District of Columbia filed an emergency motion on Wednesday. Wednesday? Where the fuck did I get that from? On Friday, challenging the Trump administration's attempt to take over the city's police department, and a federal judge is hearing the matter. The lawsuit comes after Trump administration moved to expand its control of the city's police department by installing an emergency commissioner and revoking policies that limit officers' cooperation with immigration enforcement. Yeah. How's that going? Mayor Bowser are celebrating the outcome. Celebrating the outcome? What the fuck? This just started. What happened? Whoa. What, the outcome? Mayor Muriel E. Bowser is in the courthouse waiting for lawyers from the city justice department to return from a negotiated agreement that would obviate the... Hold on. Sorry, I'm illiterate. Obviate, remove. Oh, obviate. Fucking you piece of shit. Are you fucking... obviate. Obviate. Ameliorate. Negotiating an agreement that would ameliorate the need for a federal judge to intervene in the dispute over the president taking control of the police department. The two sides have been talking in private for an hour and a half. Michelle Reich, a lawyer representing D.C., said the parties were focused on rewriting Section 1 of Attorney General Pam Bondi's order, which put Terry Cole in charge of the Metropolitan Police Department instead of the city's current chief of police. These changes would include redefining Cole's role to keep the power to make changes to police policy with mayor's office. Judge Reyes said if the parties do not reach that agreement in 45 minutes, she will issue an order blocking Section 1 of Bondi's order. Reich asked her not to rule on other sections of the order till next week. Huh. Okay. So the outcome that they're celebrating is the fact that the judge... They assume that the judge is going to effectively order some kind of negotiation which limits the abilities of the federal government to take over their police force and limits the extent that they can do damage using that. Okay. All right. It seems like DC is doing pretty good here. Thank God. Do you have any idea how much fucking leeway the Trump administration has gotten purely off of the ambiguity of the concept of a national emergency? There's so many rules where the president can do something as long as it's an emergency. They just say anything's an emergency. This tariff, that tariff. 8 months now, every tariff implemented and taken away, every single thing that's happened is an emergency. Jesus Christ. Your hair is messy today. Dude, I'm so far out from, like, needing a haircut. Look at this shit. I needed a haircut months ago. I'm just like, I don't fucking care. I'll do it when I do it. I don't care. Judge Reyes is now hearing from the D.C. Attorney General's office, but it's already clear she has deep doubts that the Trump administration has acted lawfully. It's antithetical to the notion of home rule. Michelle Reich, a senior counsel, told her, local residents have local control. Judge Reyes replied, I agree with you that they're not allowed to take over the police force. And Mr. Roth, if I gave him truth serum, he'd probably agree. That's a fucking crazy thing to say, dude. Are you kidding me? As a judge presiding over an emergency case, say like, yeah, if the opposition was forced to tell the truth, they would probably agree. That's like a weirdly partisan thing to say. She's essentially saying like, yeah, we're still in the like discussion portion of this trial, but I'm going to assume the other side is lying. She's right to assume that. It's just pretty weird. The DOJ has lost all clout in the judiciary. Yeah, it is true that the DOJ seems to have tossed out all of its competent lawyers. Like, all the competent lawyers basically threw their hands up at the beginning of the administration and said, we're not doing this. We're not going to, like, obviously break the law. And the only ones that are left are lunatic partisans. It started going downhill for the DOJ right away when the judge made fun of them for typos. Oh, no. Judge Anna Reyes begins hearing the D.C. government request for court order to halt Trump administration from installing Trump appointee Terry Cole as new emergency commissioner overseeing D.C. police. Reyes says she's immediately unsure where Trump admin finds a basis to install its own person to direct orders to the D.C. police. Judge Reyes notes this is a unique, if not unprecedented case. Judge Reyes, I don't think we can end run around the language of the Home Rule Act. Deep skeptics early in this hearing from Judge about Trump's ability to name his own D.C. police chief. Judge says the Trump administration made a spelling error in its order designating Terry Cole to be emergency police commissioner of D.C. Judge says that error doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. Remember how they had to purge all the Federalist Society lawyers because they were too law-pilled to do what the Trump admin wanted? Yeah, that was so fucking funny. All the Federalist Society dipshits, these rule-bound fascists, are like, all right, here's our plan to implement fascism. We're going to need like a bunch of legal precursors and jurisprudence to be established. So over the course of the administration, I think we'll be able to make decent groundwork. And the DOJ was just like, nah, we want you to just go up there and like make up shit, bro. Just go in there and like say shit, like whatever, and like we'll cover for you. Don't worry about it, okay? Not even a fucking big deal. So yeah, go over there. And they had to fire these people because they were too smart, literally too smart to do their work for them. It's like the police having the IQ limit, you know? Judge Reyes to attorney representing Trump admin, why can't your executive order simply match the statute? Judge says Terry Cole has zero experience in running the D.C. Police Department. Judge says the Trump executive order and the demand that Terry Cole run D.C. Police is equivalent to Trump admin telling police, you can do nothing unless I say you can. Judge questions whether the president could even talk to the police department without going through D.C. mayor first, much less run the police department. Judge Reyes asks attorney repping Trump admin whether it's clear the president cannot extend authority beyond 30 days without congressional approval. Attorney answers yes. So Trump previously was asked this question, and he said he can run it for as long as he wants, as long as there's an emergency. D.C. government attorney argues Home Rule Act only gives the president the narrowest of authorities. He says home rule means local rule. Judge then says, I agree they can't take over the police force. Huh. My understanding was that they could. Flatly, my understanding was that they could. I thought they could. You know? They can tell the mayor to tell them, I think. There is some mechanism by which the presidential administration can direct the police, but I guess it's supposed to be indirect through the mayor's office and not direct as in like appointing your own guy to be commissioner. Terry Cole is not going to be the emergency police commissioner, but will instead be the intermediary between the White House and MPD during the Trump admin takeover of DC police. Huh. Pretty huge then. Honestly, like this is a pretty big blow. Remember, like, this is the template that they're going to use to take over the rest of the country, right? This is what they want to do. They want to like invoke emergency powers, send the National Guard in, and instigate to prompt a response, and then do like a Martial Law Insurrection Act crackdown. And DC is the testing ground because this area, they have unique control over the police. But if they're overstepping here, it really fucks up their ability to, you know, continue implementing that down the line. Yeah, DC should have been the easiest place for them to do this. Meanwhile, this is the kind of thing the DOJ is posting. Too busy farming aura and hype moments to even do fascism properly. Embarrassing. You fired. He's no hero. Man who assaulted officer with Subway sandwich over DC crime crackdown worked for DOJ. He's already been let back out in the street. Fucking embarrassing. Assaulted with Subway sandwich. They posted about this yet? Their loss? No, of course not. Seriously, this is all they do. This is all they do. This is all they have. Aura and hype moments. Hey, can you like make a hard ass fucking Little Dark Age edit? Hey, can you you know, throw some PNGs on the feed that make us look hard as fuck? Hey, can you like put a, you know, 20-second clip of us sending 20 officers to the house of the guy who threw a Subway sandwich at one of our officers? Really put it together? Like it's fucking embarrassing. Fucking 19-year-old interns running comms. Yeah. Wait, you oh, that came out. That was out of nowhere. Holy shit. CIA pointing the Sneasler gun right at me. Holy. Check out this one. Reddit occupied government. Join.ice.gov. Jesus Christ. Sorry. This meme isn't even fresh. I feel like this is a 19-year-old comm intern neo-Nazis idea of what would most appeal to millennials, you know? Older than 19. It's true. We do often say that the people running comms for the White House and the federal government are all like 19-year-old internet Nazis, but we do know the guy who runs the comms for the White House. And unfortunately, he does look a little bit like me, but he is older than me and looks worse than me. I don't know. This is so fucking good, though. I guess we'll see how it develops in the near future. Honestly, though, given how outright belligerent the Judge Reyes, has been towards the DOJ, justifiably, I do not see this working out well for the federal government in the long term. Pull up a pic of him. You pull up a pic of him. I'm not going to allude to the fact that the comms director for the White House account on Twitter looks like me, and then pull up that fat neck-bearded fuck with the transparent glasses for you all to make fun of me, like, by adjacency. I've already made myself vulnerable by acknowledging that there are some superficial visual similarities between him and myself. You need to do the legwork. We'll make fun of you anyway. Yeah, I know. I know. Can we get his name? God, you people are lazy. How do we know you aren't him? Well, we haven't been seen in a room together. Man. How are we doing? Close tab for Google search of word obviate. Ameliorate, ameliorate, ameliorate. What the fuck? Trump struggled to walk in a straight line as he went to greet Putin. What the hell? Oh my god, dude. It's windy? Yeah, maybe it's just windy. That's like really bad. You're even being guided by a fucking red carpet. The weave. So how are you guys doing? How's life going? I gotta finish putting up all the shit in my background. I gotta, I gotta complete the set. Not great out of work VFX artist here. Yeah, you gotta move to Canada or like India or something. My birthday's next week. Nice. Pretty nerve-wracking being in Anchorage right now. Why? I don't think that they're actually going to invade Alaska. I have to out my trans students by law now. Nice, nice, very fun. Very excited to start the next semester of college, about to finish my bachelor's. Nice, nice. Yeah, get it done. Get her done. I bet you don't know what that's a reference to. You don't even know. It's okay. Just a little peek into the past, you know, the mind of a millennial. You wouldn't get it. Got K barbecue and D&D planning tonight. If you weren't a pussy, you would do the D&D session over the K barbecue, or possibly under, depending on how messy it gets. Remember the family 2 days ago? Tiny Demon only poops and demands sustenance at all hours. Welcome, welcome the little baby to your family. Getting married in a few months. Hey! Nice. Congratulations. Did you see this Hassan clip about fucking Trump? Oh, is this the nested Northern Lion clip? We can contribute to the chain here.
Crazy that Northern Lion's coming for your job with a hard-hitting political commentary.
Hey, you're 2 inches into Trump and Biden's 2 inches into you.
Dude, well, I'm sorry. Coming for my job, this is literally not even a question. I'm pulling into Trump. I'm literally going as hard into Trump as I can, and I'm actually holding on for dear life as I'm nutting. This is not even a question, okay? This is only a hypothetical. This is only a hypothetical for the weak-minded, Okay,
it's not even a question of like whether or not it's a hypothetical for the weak-minded. It's also, not to dunk on Northern Lion here, who I typically respect, except for in this one instance, a pedestrian question. I understand this is being posited as some kind of like brain breaker for the politically minded, but in reality, this is the first question you get pitched at politics streamer camp. You know, when they've got you lined up and you're doing your 6 weeks of boot camp before you're allowed to go out there and stream politics, it's shit like this they're throwing you day one. It's like asking somebody who has a PhD in philosophy how they feel about the trolley problem. Here's a brain breaker. Honestly,
I already have a fully flushed out worldview. I already have talked about. I already talked about what I would do in this situation a million times over. I'm a real political commentator. What do you mean? Okay, I'm blowing up in those cheeks. Sorry, Donald Trump. I'm nutting in there. Okay.
Are you moving forward or backwards? Don't tell me to shut up. Just answer the question.
Holy shit, that's the loudest plane in the world outside. You got to think too, like, do you think that Joe Biden is hung? Because Hunter Biden is hung. This is public knowledge, right? He's got to be, right?
I'm a political.
Not anymore. No, you can't do that. You can't pussy out of the hypothetical by going, well, does this junk even work or whatever? You can't do that. Obviously, he's already inside. He's already 2 inches inside of you. So his dick has to be working. And his body's like 1 foot away. So are you moving forward or backward? Here's my question. Why do I have to be the one to move? I'm in the middle. Wouldn't Joe Biden be the person who's taking like more initiative? Like he's the one behind. Is it because I'm the only young man in the sandwich? I'm the one who has to do the fucking work? You double it and give it to the next guy. Would you, forward or backward, double it, give it to Biden? What would you do? Well, I guess for him, it's not even a question, right? He has to go forward. Yes, they cannot walk. I feel I try to come to a bipartisan solution, okay? I try to heal the divide between America's left and right. I would fix the schism. And the only way to do that, I think, would be to bounce back and forth crazy style. Also, by the way, Hassan's premise here is flawed because he says, well, he would go forward and deep dive into Trump. Okay, motherfucker, what happens when you pull back out of Trump? You're going back into Biden. Like you can't, there's no way to aggressively participate. The question is whether you go forward or backward on the first stroke, but at the end of the day, like you're still on the seesaw no matter what. This is a bizarre visual. Maybe for you, because you've never had sex. Yeah, read up on materialism. Read up on the dialectic. Reaching across the aisle. That's cute. You think you're so cute. The hypothetical implies that neither Trump nor Biden are moving, so it's up to you whether you go forward or back. Also, you could rail Trump so hard both of you are going forward no matter what. 1 out of 2. So what's going to happen if I put a fucking character limit in VGG? I was looking at YouTube. So what's going to happen if I put a character limit on VGG? People are going to start splitting their essay posts. They're going to type it up in Word and then copy and paste it in thirds. Yeah, what's the original?
Okay, you're 2 inches into Trump and Biden's 2 inches into you. Are you moving forward or backwards? Don't tell me to shut up. Just answer the question. You fucking prudes.
Nah, I get it. Well, then what's your answer? I gave my answer. You just don't want to hear it. You guys hear that Xtune died? Mr. Xtune? That's fucking crazy. Who? You people suck. The gay porn artist, you fucking idiot. Where were you when Xtune is killed? I don't know. Probably on Twitter. Israel dick sucker as well? Is that true? Dude, people are writing articles on his ass. Mr. Xtune, parentheses, not safe for work artwork, that link, whose gay Disney-inspired porn edits and animations often went viral online, has passed away according to an online report. The videos were distinct for their high-quality animation and voice acting, as well as large penises with graphic gay sex. Yeah. Oh, this shit you can't expect. Click the link. No, I don't think I will. Oh my god, that guy? Yeah, he's fucking dead. I find that Tarzan clip. Yeah, no, the Tarzan clip is classic.
We're very excited for another class, right?
Yeah.
A picture speaks 1,000 words. With that, I introduce you to the fantastic world of gay sex. We're very excited for...
People used to put artistry into their work. Nowadays, it's all like Chat GPT, AO3, you know, slow burn romance posts. Amazing to be able to do that. No, dude was really talented. Dude was really talented. Just goes to show porn is art. Yeah. But he was a Zionist? Okay, all right. Well, I didn't know nothing about that, all right? Don't worry about it. I googled Mr. Xtune Zionist, and the first thing that appeared on Google was a tweet with 1 like. Best source there is. Yeah, because it's unbiased. Speaking of porn, I should probably get back to drawing my furry shit here in a minute. Back to the mines. Back to the mines. Good luck with that. Good luck. Good luck. It is so warm in here. All right. I'm going to read donos. Today's Friday, right? Yeah, today's Friday. Today's Friday. That's crazy. Fuck, I should do a game stream soon. We need to make those exist again. You should play Night Rain. Feel like you've told me to do that before. Listen, I don't give a fuck about Night Rain because the thing that I like about Elden Ring or Dark Souls or any of those games is the constructed world. the linear progression, the feeling that you're overcoming on this great trial, you know? I don't really want to do it in a roguelike. I thought that too till I played it. It was fun. I'm sure it's fun. Just got a lot of stuff to do, okay? Sex Ed Dropout, thank you for the $10. As a fellow queer neurodivergent with white people hair, try Garnier Fructis Brilliantine Shine Glossing Spray on your hair. Okay, okay. That's great. Everyone with their, yeah, not sponsored, hashtag ad. Yeah, it's got argan oil. It's similar to the sea salt spray then. I don't know. Maybe. What the fuck is glossing spray anyway? Not wanting anything on your hair is a big limitation. Wouldn't it just be like, it's fine as long as it dries, you know? If it dries enough that when you run your fingers through your hair, it doesn't feel like you're accumulating a fuck ton of oil on your fingers. I like Vosh's new setup. It looks endearing when he looks at the other monitor. Is it just me? I think this is a really nice new setup. I just need to... There's a lot of stuff I need to add around, and I need to add the sound dampening foam. But I think overall, there's a good vibe in here. I feel comfy. There's still a little bit of tweaking and refinement, you know, but altogether, I think it's nice. I'm telling you, linen curtains. I'm going to get linen curtains right here, okay? They're going to come down and they're going to dampen the sound, because having linen curtains just in general will dampen the sound in any room, okay? And I think it's going to look good. I want that thing NL has, so Vosh has the 1,000-yard stare in the cam to talk directly to chat. I don't know how he does that. I don't know how the fuck he has his camera, like, right where he looks. I don't know how he does that. Because his camera's, like, perfectly level. Like, I'm looked down on a little bit. But you see, it's a whole thing. Like a gopher. POV, you've just flipped a rock. Skynet Zero, thank you for the $5. Happy birthday. Happy 24th. Here's to many more years in life. I love Duckies, thank you for the 5. I do want to watch The Suicide Squad by Gunn. I do want to, yeah. Get the lowdown on Peacemaker, you know? Get the intro. Happy birthday. Rygar99 with the $5. Need more Bollard versus Carr segments. Need Bollard versus Trump segments. Bollard will save you from fascism. Trump might trip over a Bollard one day, you know? It's not impossible. Be a good day. A good day for urbanism. JD Myrtleman, thank you for the 20 Canadian. I never got the chance to say all the best to you and your partner. Thank you so much always for your work and insight. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind. I don't know if you could really say you never got the chance because, like, I don't know if we've met in person. I appreciate it very much, you know? What matters most to me is that you're here and you're chilling. Ethan Davis, the $2. You have to be inhuman to never feel nostalgia. Listen, I'm just saying it's a fascist impulse. Listen, okay? So many people retreat into fascism like cowards, all right? You need to embody the Nietzschean Übermensch spirit, okay? And you can't allow your life to be consumed by this irrational belief that your life was better than it used to be. Now, when you look back on how you lived when you were 11 years old, you imagine playing Banjo-Kazooie on the Nintendo 64 with a bowl full of Doritos, and it's a 4 p.m. on a Saturday and the world is your oyster. But how did you actually feel back then? You only remember it that way because of the rose-colored goggles. How did you actually feel back then? Honestly, you had your good days and your bad days. Same as today. And if back then you could look into the future, there are probably things, when I was 11 years old, I look into the future and I think, whoa, I get to be 6'2"? I get to live with my beautiful partner? Well, maybe when I was a kid, I wouldn't go like, I get to live with my beautiful partner. I'd be like, oh, I have to not eat candy for every meal? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck 11-year-old me was like, really. There are a lot of things that nowadays you wouldn't enjoy about being a kid. The lack of freedom, how much of your life is dictated by other people. You need to construct your own happiness. You can't just look back on stuff that's happened before and reminisce about it, you know? I hate that shit. And I hate what it makes people act like, too. I hate how people get into these myopic, self-destructive spirals about how like there was some ephemeral, untouchable, unknowable characteristic of the past that made it better than anything you can construct today. It's just bullshit. And it makes you dead to the world because you lose the ability to appreciate good things about the way the world is today because you're too locked in the past. They're never making another Banjo-Kazooie game, okay? At least probably not a good one. And the one they made off Kickstarter wasn't that good, you know? But if I was the kind of guy who went around being like, man, what's even the point? They're not making good shit these days. Remember back in my day? Remember when they made Banjo-Kazooie? That was the good shit. Now shit sucks. If I acted like that, I wouldn't have played Hollow Knight. If I acted like that, I would have never discovered how wonderful all the games that I enjoy nowadays are. You know? Everyone's like, yo, the 1,000-Year Door is really good, but nobody's bold enough to say that Super Paper Mario Origami King is also really good. And if you had grown up playing that, you would probably feel the same way about it now as you did the 1,000-Year Door. I do think 1,000-Year Door is better, but not by that much, to be honest. I think that I don't like fascism. I don't like fascism. And you're all fascist. I'm not fascist. Nostalgia is the driving impulse of fascism, okay? All of these motherfucking fascist accounts you seen that genre of post? You seen that genre of post from the fascists where they're like, they took this away from you, and the this in question is like playing with the NES on your CRT TV in the basement back in the 1990s, and they have like a vintage filter over everything? Like they took that away from you? Nothing took that away from you. Technology improved. TVs are better. The reason they do this is because they're obsessed with capturing people who are lost to this like pathetic, moping longing for their childhood because they're too weak to accept the responsibility and consequences of growing old. Sorry, buddy. It came for free with your living. All right. I'm done rambling. Pale Magpie and Anime 3806, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Something I've heard from family and friends is that they voted for Trump because they'd rather have the country crash and burn than it keep going currently. Fukuyama is so fucking vindicated, man. The idea that people would get so comfortable they would get bored and destroy society for the fun of it. Unfortunately, their understanding of what's wrong with society is not accurate, I guess. Jalen Naito, thank you for the $10. Really appreciate that. Hey, Vosh, would love to hear what you think of the new Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic. I know what you're going to say, but I think if you look at the story on its own, you can enjoy it. If you know what I'm going to say, then shouldn't you know that I haven't seen it? I don't know anything about it. I'm sorry. Look, the Five Nights at Freddy's shit, as far as I'm concerned, any like viable, interesting plot line they could follow it through on ended with Custom Night. Custom Night was the end of that. They put it all in a box and they lit the box on fire. All right. I think that they were pretty franchise baity even before then, but that for me was my tuning out point. And since then, you know, they've made all this other crap, and Security Breach was bad, and they keep redoing the lore, whatever the fuck, you know. I don't know anything about Secret of the Mimic. I've seen some nice animation work on it though. Still live at the $5. Yeah, I think that it's much easier to be authoritarian when people in your government aren't afraid of death and are okay with delivering it. You know? Just doesn't really happen anymore. Zoe Spencer, thank you for the $10. I'm a trans woman in Florida. Yikes. And while I've never been harassed in a restroom, I'm always terrified when someone comes in after me, especially if they've got kids. Cleavage to the rescue, Lamau. Yeah, Jesus, stay safe out there. Seriously. Not an easy time to be you. Hopefully things fix up soon. Mark Fluembio, thank you for the $2. And Ethan Davis with the additional $2. You've literally said we peaked in 08. Come on. Peaked in 08 how? When have I said, chat, I'm actually asking, when have I said we've peaked in 08? Did I say like in some other way, like in terms of wokeness or economically? I don't think that's true. I don't know. I can't really rebuke a claim I have no memory of. In terms of social development? Maybe, but that's not nostalgia though. Nostalgia is this like glowing assessment of your past or of your imagined past that kind of blinds you to the relationship between the past and today. Yeah, it's wistful longing. Like it could be objectively true that something is better in the past, and saying that isn't nostalgia, right? For example, pardon me, clothing in America used to be higher quality. The clothing that we produced and consumed was objectively higher quality, made at a higher cost with better labor and better materials than it is today. But that's not nostalgia. That's just factually the case, you know? I don't know. Everything was higher quality? Well, manufactured goods, for sure, for sure. Kowalski, thank you for the $5. I'm going to stop clicking on your links, Kowalski. You can't do them literally every fucking time, okay? Freak the fuck out, panic, sell everything right now. It's fucking over. Seems to be the direction we're going in. Okay, and back in the day, the average worker had it better. How is it nostalgia then? Well, it depends, because the average worker might not have had it better, depending on the time and circumstances. But also, I don't think that's necessarily nostalgia. Nostalgia isn't saying things in the past are better than they are now in some respect. Nostalgia is like that, yeah, wistful longing, you know? It was like looking back in a particular like emotional context. Really, though, you should play Origami King. No links and no essay posts, Kowalski. It's going to be difficult, but you're going to have to act like a civilized regular chatter, like an urbanite. All right, folks. 3 p.m. I love you all very much. Everyone take care. Take care. I don't know why I've been doing that like fake Jersey affect for a while. I should probably stop. It's making me lazy with my intonation. Take care, drink water, etc. I really want to try to do some night streams tonight. Not tonight, this weekend, you know? I would like that. Anyway, take care.